Ah, yes. Salute to all the Patreon members, all the subscribers, all the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. I am back home in America right now, and I'm ready to chop up some game. The screen that you see in front of you is a picture that I took from my phone. For those that know, actually, my hotel, this is my hotel I was staying at right here. There's 25 floors on this hotel. I was staying on the 24th floor, and I had an ocean view. All right. So this area right here, I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of this area, but it was like a bike path, a jogging path, rollerblading, you name it, a bunch of tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts. Right. It's just a path where people exercise mainly at night because it was cool. And I used to walk down this path every single night, take pictures, videos. I even went live a couple of times down this path. I'll get the name of it later, but I want to chop up what this title is about. So the title of this is called Met a Beautiful Woman in Panama, and the but is she's a virgin. Salute to Ozzy. All right. I met a beautiful woman in Panama, but she's a virgin. If you guys can do me a favor, please hit the link in the description box below. Check out the Facebook page. Check out the Patreon page. No, I'm not in Panama. I'm back home. All right. Check out the links in the description box below. Share this video and let's get to it. All right. Let's get to it. So I'll slowly tell these stories throughout the next couple of weeks. All right. Some of the things I experienced in Panama. Is Panama a go? Yes, it is. It has the best of both worlds. You can find serious women out there, beautiful, um, some marriage-minded women. You can find them in Panama, and you can find the freaks out there also. The best of both worlds are in Panama. The majority of women that I saw walking past me out there were beautiful, and some of y'all saw them when I went live Tuesday night. I know you couldn't get a good close up image of all the women that walked past, but y'all had a good idea by my reaction. Y'all saw the shape and the figure of a lot of women that walked past me when I was walking down the strip. Saul, yes, that's his name. I forgot his name. What's going on, Saul? Because Saul's name on Instagram is different than on here. So whenever I was going live for the past couple of days, I kept saying that one brother, I forgot his name. He recommended Club Photo / Havana to me. All right. But y'all pretty much saw the shape of the women that walked past me. That's the norm in Panama. Right. Really cute women in the face, and their bodies is insane. That's the norm in Panama. Now I'm back in America. All these women out here are obese. They're real strong and silverbackish in the face. You know, I really miss Panama already. You got women online making a list of demands. I saw Lil Scrappy's ex-wife Bambi talking about, yeah, 50,000 to go on a date with me is too low. I was like, what? Man, take me back to Panama. All right. You were breaking your neck. Yes, I was. I was breathless. I'd be in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, see, guys, this area right here. Oh, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, my fucking God. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I ain't going to put the camera on her, but hold on. Look at this woman in the turquoise right here. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, brothers. I kept getting distracted when I was in Panama, right? But I kept losing focus when I was in Panama. Panama is a great place, best of both worlds. It's only a 3.5 hour flight from where I'm at. right? From Houston is like it's only 1,700 miles from Houston. I mean, I want you to imagine this. The flight from Houston to Panama City is the equivalent of New York City to San Antonio, Texas. That's how far Panama City is from where I'm at. It is not that far. It's like me traveling to New York, every other month. It's doable. So there's 5 women that I want to highlight on my trip, but I'm not going to highlight all 5 women in this podcast right here. I'm not going to highlight all 5 women. I'm only going to highlight girl number 2. There is a picture of girl number 2 on the Facebook page. If you want to see her, you could click the link to the Facebook page and you can see her. Okay. Girl number 2 was a black Panamanian woman, 21 years old, university student, and very nice, very respectful. When we met, we had such a good time. It was almost as if we'd known each other for a long time. The conversation was flowing. She was very comfortable around me. And, something kept coming up in the back of my mind when I was hanging out with her. Something kept coming up in the back of my mind when we were texting. Something kept coming up in the back of my mind when I got back to Texas. And I asked her this question that was on the back of my mind yesterday. And yes, come to find out, she is a virgin. I said, that makes all the sense in the world. I think I told you guys about our excursion or our hangout, but let me break it down for you. Let me break down girl number 2 for you. There's 5 women. I mean, there was way more than 5 women, but I have to highlight 5 women that I was on the trip that I met. Okay. The other women, they didn't, they were baby mamas, these were like 4s and 5s. They were ready to meet up with me. They were down to come to the hotel. They were down to hang out, for the free and stuff like that. It's just that girl number 1 through 5, these were all, well, girl number 5 was about a 5 or a 6, I will admit. But girl number 1 through 4, these were 8s and 9s. Actually, no lower than an 8.5. Girl number 2 was an 8.5. I don't want to break down as to why she was an 8.5. But she was an 8.5 in my eyes. Still high up there. Salute to Maurice Branch. All right, here we go. So I met girl number 2 on a dating app. University student, lives with her mother and father, 21 years old. We were supposed to meet up on Thursday at noon. This chick didn't even wake up until noon. And she telling me she woke up so late because she's a university student, stayed up all night doing homework. I get it. We actually didn't meet until about 4 p.m. at Albrook Mall. If you guys don't, should I pull up Google Maps? Should I pull up Google Maps also? All right. So if you guys don't know Albrook, the Albrook area is kind of like on the west side of Panama City. And Albrook Mall, connected to Albrook Mall is hold on. Actually, I'll take that back. It's like the southwest side of Panama City. Let me stop this right here. Let me show you Google Maps. So this is Albrook Mall right here. Okay, let me zoom out. This is where Panama City is. It's connected to the Atlantic side of the ocean. Albrook Mall was over here. My hotel was right. All right, so yes, This is the name, Cinta Costera. My hotel was somewhere. Damn, I don't. It was somewhere in this area over here. Okay, Albrook Mall is over here. This is Albrook Mall. You see this whole space right here? This is a bus station. This is a major bus station hub right here. Okay. So if you go out the back, this area right here, it's a whole bunch of buses taking you to different directions all throughout Panama. I don't know exactly where she lives at, but it took about an hour by bus with no traffic to get over here. Okay. So I met her over here, and then we took an Uber to go over here. Multi Plaza Mall. Multi Plaza Mall is an upscale mall in Panama City. Real nice mall. They have some decent restaurants in there, some good food. Uh, I really don't have anything negative to say about Multi Plaza Mall besides it's really hot in the morning time. Okay, so let me put it back onto this photo right here. Let me put this back up. I meet her at Multi Plaza. Well, no, I met her at Albrook Mall at the bus station. Took an Uber, went back to Multi Plaza Mall. We get to the mall, and she can understand my English. She's speaking English, and the conversation is just flowing. Everything is going great. All of a sudden, she says, "Ooh, ooh, ooh! Oh man, I would love to eat there one day." And I looked to my left, and I was shocked. I was like, "You sure?" She was like, "Oh yes, it's such a nice restaurant. Oh, I've always wanted to eat there one day." I was perplexed, right? Because this is a restaurant that women in America despise. That's why a lot of locations throughout America, this restaurant has been shutting down the locations all throughout America because people just don't want to eat there anymore. It symbolizes, uh, it basically symbolizes, how can I say, just, I want to say low class, but it symbolizes non-creativity amongst a lot of women, right? Women on a first date don't want to go to this restaurant anymore. And then women of a certain age, as they get older while you're dating them, they don't even want you to take them over there to that restaurant anymore. No, it's not Cheesecake Factory. But this woman I was on a date with, who's very, very pretty, in shape, right? A virgin, which I found out later on, grew up with a mother and father, a black Panamanian girl. She's like, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to go to that restaurant." The restaurant was Olive Gardens. This woman was just excited when she saw Olive Gardens. And I was just like, "Are you sure?" She was like, "Yes, yes. Ooh, oh my God, like it's such a nice restaurant." Now, I didn't put up on game about anything about America, how women view that place in America. I didn't say anything. I didn't. Now, I gave her other suggestions. I said, "Hey, you know, why don't we, if you want pasta or Italian, let's go to like a more upscale, Italian restaurant. Like, look, here's an Italian restaurant up the street. It's a four-star restaurant. Look at the meals here." I showed her some of the pictures. She was like, "It's okay." And I was like, "Okay." There was a restaurant in the mall, a nice upscale restaurant that I took her to in the mall. And we sat down. She looked at the menu and she's like, and I was like, You want to go to Olive Gardens, don't you? She was like, yes, yes, yes. I was like, all right, come on, let's go to Olive Gardens. She was like, yay, yes, yes, thank you, thank you. So we got up and we made our way to Olive Gardens. I couldn't believe it. I said, brothers in America aren't going to believe that this woman was overly excited to go to Olive Gardens, especially on a first date, right? This is what I'm saying, the appreciation of women in other cultures. I'm dead serious, Maurice Branch. I'm dead serious. This woman was beyond excited to go to Olive Gardens. We get to Olive Gardens, we sit down, she starts taking pictures of the restaurant. And I'm speechless. I'm like, oh my God, I've never met a woman, well, as far as, within the last like 15 years, 15, almost 20 years, I've never met a woman who was this excited to go to Olive Gardens. Women in America today, especially black women, you say, hey, we're going to Olive Gardens on the first date. They will say, hey, you know what? Never mind. I'll stay home, right? You're going to be that cheap with me? Do I look like some Olive Garden D to you? If you're going to be that cheap with me, I don't even want to roll with you, right? Saul, yes, Olive Garden is a luxury restaurant down there. Saul is absolutely right. So we go to Olive Garden. She's taking pictures. I'm sitting down with her and I say, hey, has a man ever taken you out on a date before? She was like, yeah. I was like, where did he take you to? Just like McDonald's, Burger King, and stuff like that. And I'm like, did you like, what did you think about the guy after he took you to McDonald's and Burger King? She was like, no, I didn't think much. It was just like, I was appreciative that he took me out. We got to know each other, but those guys, they just weren't for me. All they wanted was sex and nothing more. And I blew my mind. Like, she was used to being taken to McDonald's in the past. You see what I'm saying? But I understand it because the salary, the monthly income down there, it, respectfully is lower than America. So I can respect that. I understand. I'm not judging anybody, but it was nice to see a woman appreciative of Olive Garden. Now, let me tell you, that same woman, has she been raised in Houston, if you ain't taking her to a bungalow's like a high upscale restaurant downtown. You ain't taking her to bungalow, then it's like, don't even bother. You know, I I almost I almost said something, but I don't want to bring up anybody from the past or whatever. I almost said something, but let me just leave that alone and focus on girl number two. So girl number two, um, our food comes out. She orders like the pasta with cheese all over it and chicken. Of course, she doesn't eat all of it. And I mentioned this in a live stream the other night. And I ordered it was like kind of like a 3-in-1 dish. It was chicken covered in cheese, fettuccine alfredo, and lasagna. Now we all know that it's you tell an Italian that you went to Olive Gardens, they you know what I'm saying? You know how they feel about Olive Gardens and what they'll say if you try to approach a real Italian about that, right? So I just eat to get full. I don't even eat everything on my plate. And she ate till she got full. She has so much leftovers that she wanted to take a bag with her. She wanted wrapped up in a bag. And once again, in American culture, it's like if you don't finish everything, you don't take a to-go plate. You see what I'm saying? You don't take a to-go plate on a first date in front of a man because it makes you look like kind of homely and hungry and it's just it's kind of a weird look in America. But she wanted to go plate. I'm like, go ahead, get yourself a to go plate. I didn't impose nothing about my culture onto her. Um, Now, because this was so refreshing that I'm meeting somebody who's appreciative of Olive Gardens. Well, as we're walking through the mall, we passed by Starbucks and she was just like, "Do you like Starbucks?" I'm like, no, not really. She was like, "You don't really like coffee?" I was like, "No, I don't like coffee." She goes, "I like iced coffee. Even though I've never had iced coffee, I've had hot coffee. I would just imagine that iced coffee probably tastes really, really good." I was like, "You never had iced coffee before?" She was like, "Nah, but I could imagine it tastes really, really good." I said, "Come on, today's your lucky day. You're gonna get some iced coffee today." So I go downstairs, buy some iced coffee, just more than appreciative. She was just like, "Oh my God, thank you. Like this tastes really, really good." And I was like, "You're welcome." And mind you, she almost didn't come down to the city on Thursday because she only had $10, right? She had enough money to get tickets to go down her to her university and back by bus, right? She didn't have enough money to just take an extra trip on one of her days off from school to come down and see me. She had enough money just, for a certain amount of days to take the bus to go to school and come back. And she was like, "That's why, I really want to see you." And that's why I said, maybe Saturday we can meet up or yada, yada, yada. I said, "How much is a ticket for you to come down to, you know, the bus station and back?" Basically, she told me she only had $10. I said, "Man, if you don't bring your ass down here, like, don't worry. All expenses are on me today. I'll give you some money when you get here. Don't worry about it. Just come down." So it was nice to see that she didn't ask for my money, right? She was trying to make it work. It's like, I have an event to go to on Saturday. It's not that long. I can knock out two birds from one stone. I can come down there, see you, and then I can go to the school event. But I really, really want to see you. I was like, "No, just go ahead. I got you." So uh, I promised to get her some money when she got down. Now, depending on how her attitude was, it all depends on how much money I was going to give her. But it was so refreshing to be around somebody. I'm on vacation. It was so refreshing to be around somebody who, she has a mother and a father in her life. She listens to them. She's going to school. She's getting good grades. She doesn't really have a job, doesn't really have time for work, doesn't even have data on her phone. Like everywhere she goes is just, Wi-Fi. She has to connect to Wi-Fi everywhere she goes. And I remember we walked past in Panama, they have this backpack store called Toto in the mall. All right. It's a Panamanian store. She was like, "Do you know about Toto?" I was like, "No." She said, "There's no Toto in Panama. I mean, in America." I said, "No." She was like, "Oh, it's a really, really good backpack. I have a Toto bag. You know, I use the Toto bag for school now. Like I take it to school with me. I've had it since 2019. It's a very good backpack." I was like, "Oh my God, this chick, she has a backpack, a 6-year-old backpack, right?" And I was just like, wow, you know, from 2019, I was like, "Look here, you know what? I'm gonna do something special for her." And I didn't want anything in return. I was just like, man, she didn't really have enough money to come down and see me, to get on a bus to come down and see me, right? She she's had a backpack for 6 years now. Didn't really have enough money to, get nail polish or foundation. You see what I'm saying? It's just, I was like, hey, look, even if I don't see this person again, let me just do something special for her, because whether she's gonna be a good pick for me or not, she's gonna be good to somebody else if I don't end up with her, right? So I said, let me do something special for her. I don't care what y'all think of me or whatever. I didn't want anything from her. It was just I was doing a good deed, and I didn't judge her for it, right? I was doing a good deed, and it's not something that I threw in her face, anything like that. It's just here. Even if we don't see each other again, I'm glad that I did a good deed for somebody. So instead of just giving her enough money to go back $10, $20, I ended up giving her $140, right? I took out $140 out the ATM, and I didn't give it to her right away, right? Took it out, walked around the mall some more. We're having a good time. There's no awkward silence. Uh, when you meet good people, you don't mind spending money. I feel that way all the time. Salute to Dream Life, Actualize. Yeah, that's just how I felt. I didn't care if she didn't want to see me again, if we weren't compatible or anything like that. I just said, hey, look, she's had a backpack for 6 years. This is damn near a 9 that I'm walking around with, because a lot of those women, they don't know how fine they are in Panama, right? They don't know how fine they are. I'm walking around with a 9, in shape, going to school, making good grades, grew up in a 2-parent household. Her parents are still together, right? She listens to her dad's teachings, right? And she graduates at the end of this year. I said, hey, look, I just want to do a good deed for somebody. I gave her $140, right? I almost thought about giving her a little bit more, but I was just like, nah, that might be too much. So I just gave 140. And I didn't give it to her until we went back to Albrook Mall so we can walk outside to the bus station, and then I was going to give her well, yeah, I didn't give it to her until we went back to Albrook Mall so she can go on the bus station and go back home. It took her like 2 hours to go back home, by the way. So while we're walking around Albrook Mall, I put the money in her hand and I said, don't tell your mother I gave you this. Don't tell your father I gave you this either. She was like, oh, no, 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 I can't. I was like, no, 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 I insist. Take this. This is for you. I don't want anything from you. This is for you. All right. And I don't do that in hopes of getting good karma, because I don't really believe. I'm not I'm not an avid believer of just karma like that. I don't really believe in karma, right? I don't believe that if I did that for her, good karma is going to come. I don't think like that. I was just like, here, this is for you, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. So she was very, very, very appreciative, and she's like, thank you, thank you. Oh my God, you're such a blessing. Like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is happening. Very, very appreciative that I gave her $140. So she was able to get some nail polish and some foundation, because she told me, she was like, sometimes she kind of she has like acne problems, right? Because when I met her, she did have quite a bit of foundation on her face, but she wasn't wearing any lipstick, right? I noticed she was wearing some foundation, but it's okay. Still, this is like damn near a 9 that I'm walking around with. Her own hair, very pretty, in shape, So I gave her $140. I walked her to the bus station. We exchanged hugs and kisses, and then she was texting me throughout the rest of the time that I was there. Here's when I kind of had a change of heart from her, because she had a school event on Saturday for a specific class. They were supposed to meet up at a restaurant to, I don't know what the class was about. I think they were supposed to I think they were supposed it was like some health inspection type class. I don't remember. So it was like to kind of do an example or whatever, where they were supposed to go to a restaurant on Saturday and pretend to be like health inspectors or whatever, but it got canceled. So I was like, okay, I got you all day to myself on Saturday. She was like, oh no, I'm just too tired. I'm so tired. I'm gonna rest on Saturday. I didn't even get angry. I just said, okay, do your thing. It was nice to know you, right? She was like, I mean, I could meet up with you on Sunday. Do you want that? I was just like, I'll be around on Sunday. You just hit me up. I guess in her mind, she took that I could not meet up with her on Sunday. I don't know why she thought that. That's not the answer I gave her because I'm on vacation. I don't really have anything scheduled. There's not a whole lot of tourist destinations in Panama City. That's another thing, fellas. There's not a lot of tourist destinations in Panama City, right? If it was Bangkok, that's totally different. Bangkok, in Thailand, you got Phuket, Chiang Mai, Pattaya, all of Bangkok, all of the night train markets, and all the shopping malls, and Asia Teak, and Lumpini Park, and all the spas, and you name it. There's a lot to see and do all throughout Thailand. Panama City, no, there's not a lot of tourist attractions in Panama City. Okay. I've seen everything that I've wanted to see in Panama City. If I go back over there, it's because I want to be in a nice, relaxed environment, a safe and Latin environment, a safe environment in Latin America with beautiful women. And, maybe every once in a while, if the women are kind of slow or if they're not the women that I like, got a whole bunch of excuses, I pay a couple of dollars to some of the hoes, whether they from Panama or Colombia or Venezuela or Brazil, $150, break them off. And by the time the local women, regular women get their mind right, okay, y'all can hit me up and I can fuck with y'all. But until then, you got the best of three worlds in Panama. You know what I'm saying? So she was talking about she don't want to meet up on Saturday. She just wants to rest. Okay. So Saturday was when I'm like, damn, girl number one, she flew back to Colombia. Girl number two, she didn't want to meet up today. And me personally, I like women that give an effort. We didn't have to go out sightseeing together on Saturday. You could have came to the city and relaxed in my hotel room. If and later on I found out that she was a virgin. We didn't have to have sex, right? I'm not pushing you to have sex with me. I'm not tripping on that. And sometimes with women, I guess because and that's very unfortunate. There's a lot of women that in that situation, they've probably been in that situation in the past, and it's been very uncomfortable because a lot of guys have pushed them for sex. I get it, right? I get it. I get it. Sometimes it's like, what? I'm not pushing for sex because I got options. I have plenty of options in Panama City. I don't need to have sex with you. I just want your time. I just want your touch. We could have had a good time in my room. I got the 24th floor. I showed you guys where I was staying at. Y'all seen the pictures and the videos. I had a really, really nice view. We could have got room service. You could have relaxed in my room the whole day. And, it's like we didn't have to go walking and just, it had just been an inconvenience by the bus ride. But I could have sent you back by Uber. Uber from Albrook Mall to her place was like $30, but she kept saying, no, no, that's expensive. I said, stop worrying about what's expensive or not. Okay. I kind of got tired of that. I'm like, look here, $30. I'm not trying to brag or show off. It's okay. Stop worrying about it. You'll get here quicker. You'll go back home quicker. But she kept saying, oh, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. So Saturday, that place that Saul recommended, I went over to that bar, and that's for another video. Okay. Saul knows who I met at that bar at Club Photos / Havana, Club Havana. Bar Havana. Saul knows because he saw her on my Instagram page, my IG page. That woman that I met, that was the. I mean, there was a lot of women that were bad at that bar. I'm talking about it's eights and above, all at this bar. They all working girls. That chick was the baddest chick. Her and her friend were the baddest bitches at that bar. But it was like, in the back of my mind, you know, come on, like you have plenty of time to rest. I only got a few days here, right? I like women that it's like, look here. Because guys, when we run things in the back of our minds, we say, hey, look, you know, I did this, that, and the third for her. No man has ever done this, right? In your mind, you would expect that a woman would say, hey, look, no man has ever done this. Uh, I might not ever meet a man like this ever again. Why don't I just, you know, be a big girl, you know, and just fight the body aching, the tiredness. I know you go back and forth from school, a lot of work and stuff like that. A lot of homework. Let me just bite the bullet and meet up with this man because if I act like I don't want to meet up with him, I might not ever meet a man like this again, right? Because there's not a lot of foreigners that travel to Panama, right? People go to Panama and they say, hey, look, it's not a lot of tourist destinations over here. It's a little bit more expensive, but people that go to Panama, they end up going to Colombia. All right, because it's an hour farther, it's much cheaper. Them girls that was charging 150, they charging like $50 to $80 in Colombia. Yes, it's a little bit more dangerous, but the baddest women that I met in Panama, they was from Colombia. There's a lot of cute women that were Panamanian in Panama, but the baddest women in Panama were Colombian. And guess what? A lot of them, they got one foot in the corporate sector or the white collar environment, right? Working retail. And then they got another foot in the streets. They're like, hey, look, I don't get paid as much as these Panamanians over here. I don't even speak English. I don't even have a work visa over here. I'm just allowed to be a tourist, and they'll still hire me for the duration that I have on my visa, but then I got to go back home for a certain amount of time. So I got to run up the bag as much as I can while I'm here, and then go back home for a little while. Then I come back and run up the bag again. So, some guys, they rather go to Colombia. Panama is like, it's a little bit more expensive, right? But in a man's mind, when you run logic, when you try to run your logic through your mind, it makes sense. But you got to understand, women out here in the streets, they don't use logic. They run by their emotions. And her emotions were saying, I'm tired, right? So I'm just gonna sit at home. And he didn't give a definitive answer, the answer that she wanted to hear about possibly meeting up with me on Sunday. She didn't feel like she got a direct answer because I probably translated it to her. And translations, it doesn't come out the way you think it means. So by me saying, yeah, I'll be around and stuff like that, just hit me up, probably got translated to something else when you send translations to one another. What they meant to say, they get a totally different interpretation. So on Sunday, she was like, okay, well, I'll relax at home Saturday, and Sunday, I'll make it a day for me to hang out with my parents. And so yeah, she hit me up on Saturday. She hit me up on Sunday. I wasn't reaching out to her and messaging her. And mind you, this is a virgin. Okay. So in her mind, she's saying that a man is supposed you know, because she was telling me her father told her, a man is supposed to court her. A man is supposed to kind of reach out to her and court her, right? And her father taught her that you don't deal with no man that doesn't have something to offer. A man needs to have something more than me to offer to you in order for you to be with him. And that's fine. I'm pretty sure her father and her mother taught her not only just that, but more than that. But I'm like, listen here. And here's another thing. I'm going to do a whole live stream talking about this, or just a whole recorded video talking about this. I'm glad that she's a virgin. Cool. I'm glad that she's like an untouched flower. Cool. I'm glad that you listen to your mother and father, because by you listening to them, they've taken good care of you. Cool. I'm glad, but I'm not the one for you, right? Virgin women are very, very delicate. In virgin women, they've never had a dick inside of them. See, women like her, if she was not a virgin, she would have said, yeah, I'm a little bit tired, but damn that, I'm gonna give me some dick. I like him, right? She doesn't understand the power. She's never been dick down before, right? So to her, it's kind of like, okay, a man needs to do this and do that. And women who's had dick before in the past, they're like, hey, I ain't worried about what a man is supposed to do, whatever. I like him. He gave me some money. He's nice to me. Looks really handsome. I mean, all the women I met, they said, hey, you real guapo. They was calling me guapo, which means handsome. You very handsome. You're very tall, which I like. That's perfect for me. And you did all these nice things. I want him to bend me over. A woman who's not, of all the other women that I met in Panama wanted me to fuck him, right? But the virgin, since she's never had that experience before, it's like you don't, that doesn't come across your mind. Your mind is stuck on what your dad is telling you, because you've never had, you've never had a sense of, you've never had a euphoric feeling of being fucked before. So you don't know, like, hey, no, I need me some dick, because you never. I want you guys, the first time you ejaculated, pause, right? You did not stop coming. You've been coming regularly ever since, whether you had a woman or not in your life. You've been either getting pussy or you've been jacking off ever since the first time you ejaculated. I remember the first time I ejaculated, it was in middle school. I jacked off. I was curious. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But man, when I jacked off, that was an intense feeling, and my nut shot across my room. I was like, oh shit. Man, I started jacking off on my towels every single day after that. I would have a chair set up in my closet with lotion and a towel over it. I would jack off on the towel. It's just it's almost like what crack fiends, when they talk about, how crack or drug users, heroin users, crack users, cocaine users, like that first high, it was a great feeling, and they go throughout, they become addicted to that, because it's like they just kept on chasing after that high. That's what ejaculating feels like, right? So she's never had that feeling before. So I'm pretty sure she's still afraid. You know what I'm saying? You still nervous. You've never done this before. You don't understand it. You've never had the feeling of a man plowing you like a farmer plows his field. You've never been plowed before, right? A man's never ate it. He's never ate your ass, your coochie, sucked your toes. You know what I'm saying? Bit you on the shoulder while he was hitting it from the back, bit you on your booty. You've never had that feeling. She's 21 years old. So sitting at home relaxing, and then you preaching about what a man is supposed to do for you or whatever. You can run that on a young guy who who doesn't who doesn't know any better. I live on planet Earth. Okay, you've been sheltered your whole life, right? She doesn't know the world like I know the world. We're not in the 50s, the 60s. You know what I'm saying? We don't live in a time where the majority of the black community is getting married, having children, and women who are having children out of wedlock are just cast out of the community. They're looked down upon in the community. No, right? We live in a time where bitches are busting it wide open on social media. They talking shit. They getting a bunch of tattoos. They got a bunch of baby daddies, right? They they shitting on men, talking about men ain't shit, right? They finessing guys out on dates. They finessing guys during the meetups. They drugging and robbing men. They're lying on men. They're sending men to jail, calling the police on them to try to have their way to get over on a man, right? You got a lot of um you got a lot of horrible hoes out here. You got women, women, they preaching what a man should do, but they a hoe. They got tattoos across their neck, their face. They fucking and sucking everybody. They have no morals. You have unscrupulous women out here. That's the best way I can describe them. You have a lot of unscrupulous women out here today, and you trying to tell me how a man is supposed to court you? Get the fuck out of here. If this was like in the 60s, right? This was back in the day, then I would court you. But I'm sorry, women of your peers, right? Other women today, they ruined it for you, right? Yes, demonic goblin Jezebels. I like that. Dream life, actualize. There's a lot of demonic goblin Jezebels out here. And yes, you're very pretty. Yes, you a virgin. But bitch, I don't chase nobody, right? I give woman a time of day if a woman is like you said, kind of showing more interest to me than to her, because I don't have time. Sometimes I don't have time. I'm not the good morning beautiful brother. I'll just say that. I'm not, I'm not the good morning beautiful text message guy. That's not me, right? I give women a time of day if that's them. I give women a time of day that's them. I like women who aren't virgins. I like a woman. It's like, look, this man is a good man. He looks good. He's tall, and I want his dick, right? So I'm gonna, I'm a, I'm gonna do the best I can to give him what he wants because I want him. That's what the kind of woman I want. I want a woman who wants my dick. I don't want a woman who wants, um, who's trying to impose her father's teachings onto me. Fuck all that, because your mother and father, they're not going to give you the best advice. They're giving you a lot of overprotective advice. You see what I'm saying? And your mother and father, they're giving you advice that they didn't even follow themselves. You see what I'm saying? We like when a woman has been raised by her mother and her father. But the thing is you got some of these fathers. I look at Deion Sanders and T.I. I remember T.I., he was getting ran through the media because he has a daughter where it's like, hey, you want my support, you're going to have to remain a virgin, and we're going to have to get checkups at the doctor to make sure that you're still a virgin if you want my support. And he would make her go to the doctor periodically so he could check her hymen to make sure it was intact, it hasn't been penetrated, right? This woman can't even masturbate. This woman can't even use a dildo to masturbate. Pause. I know that's a little bit much. It's like you that's like. And then I remember Deion Sanders, he said that one time years ago Like, nah, my woman, my baby girl, no, 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 I don't, no, 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 no. I don't want no man touching her, yada, yada, yada. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take her to the doctor periodically so that a doctor can check whatever he needs to check to make sure that nobody's entered into my baby girl. No, 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 no. So the interviewer, I think it was like an older white guy, he was like, Dion, come on, one day a man is gonna have sex with your daughter. That's just the reality of it. He's like, no, 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 not my baby girl, not my baby girl. And I was like, what? And some guys are saying you don't understand because you don't have a daughter. Look here, man. You know, if I did have a daughter, and you know what? You're absolutely right. I don't have kids. I don't have any kids, let alone a daughter. But man, it's like I'm gonna be, if I had children, I would be protective of my daughter, but I'm not gonna be overprotective of my daughter. It's like, man, somebody's gonna have to fuck her. Is it you? Do you want to fuck your daughter? It seemed like you want your daughter's private part. I hate to sound so vulgar. It's like it sounds like you want your daughter like that. And it's like, sure, it's your daughter. You don't want her like that, but it's kind of like, man, somebody's going to fuck her. Is it you? Is it gonna be you? No, then who's gonna fuck her? Who's gonna fuck her then? I think it's sickening how I see certain fathers like overly protective of their daughters like that on that level. Like, the prom pictures where it's like, here's a guy taking his daughter out on a prom, and then they show up with like a gun in the picture. They take a picture with a gun right next to him. Let me tell you, if I had a son and he took a girl to the prom and a man, like, he goes over to her house to take photos and he agrees to take a photo with somebody else's daughter, and then the father's in that picture with a shotgun or a gun next to my son. Look here, I'm 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 going over to that house with my gun. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to promote violence on here, but I would go over to that person's house and speak to that father. Why the fuck would you take a picture of my son like that? Why would you do that? No, fuck all that. Like, don't be doing that to my son. You see what I'm saying? I'll be just as protective of my daughter as my son. Like, look, man, our kids, man, they got a life of their own. Yeah, I don't want her having sex at a young age because she probably don't understand at this time. We thought we was grown when we was kids also, but don't be holding no gun up to my son, acting like he's the reason that they having sex. That's the R word right there. If he was having sex with her, it's because he probably got consent from your fucking daughter. So hold the gun up to her. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going someplace else with it. Your father is not, some overprotective fathers, they're not giving you good sound advice to be a good woman towards another man, right? Some overprotective parents, because I'm like, damn, because this is what I said to her last night. I said, why don't we, video call? She was like, oh no, we can't video call because my mother and my father, they might hear me like on video call with you and I haven't introduced you to them yet, so they might get mad. And because I didn't I'm like, damn, your parents are strict. I posted a picture in the chat of a jail cell. I said, this must be your room right here. She was like, ha ha ha, funny. Yeah, those dads want a virgin birth like Jesus. Yeah, a 21-year-old, and I respect it. You followed your parents, your mother, and your father's teachings. I respect that. I'm not mad at her at all, but I'm not the one for you. I'm not the one for you. And I told her, I was like, when she said she was a virgin, I'm like, wow. I was just like, wow. And she says, would it be a problem if I wasn't? I said no. I was like, man, I prefer dealing with a woman who's not a virgin because virgins are too delicate. You hear in the passport bro sector how, oh, they would love to have to travel to another country, get a virgin, and I don't want a virgin because you can't look, you can't bring, sometimes you just can't. If we smoking or if we doing, I'm not a drug user, right? I barely even drink, right? But listen to my example. Just say if we were users, right? If we smoking and then you bring the guy that don't smoke, it's not fun, right? He looking at us a certain kind of way. He's uncomfortable. Man, it's not fun. We drinking and then you bring the person that don't drink. We having drunk babble and he's looking uncomfortable. He or she is looking uncomfortable and don't want to be. Man, that ain't fun. We over here smoking, drinking, getting high, getting drunk, and you bring the sober person over who's uncomfortable. Man, that is not fun. You don't understand what's going on right now, right? You don't understand. So it's kind of like, let me tell you, when if she wasn't a virgin, oh, the events that happened this last week, it wouldn't have happened. Like her body aching, she'd have been like, look here, Dick will fix all of this. This back and forth, me on a bus going back and forth from school, back home, in school and back, and it's taking hours, hour and a half, 2 hours to get back home and to school every single morning and every afternoon. Oh, I need me some dick. You know what I'm saying? And I like him, and he put money in my pocket. You know, oh, I need me some dick from him. This will fix everything. You know, this will fix everything. I don't want to lose him, and I need me some dick, right? I want to see if he can a chiropractor, right? A dick opractor. That's what she wants. She needs a dick doctor, right? And he's about to leave. You know, I'm trying to test a sample. I'm trying to see what's happening. So when you around a virgin, it's like, and then she's telling you about how you need to court me and this, that, and the third. I'm like, look here. You need somebody with a little bit more patience than me. I don't have the patience for this. I'm a man of a certain age, right? I don't have the patience. And plus, I don't live in Panama. You know, I have, fortunately, I have the means to be able to, you know, book a flight for you, book a flight for me, meet halfway like in Mexico somewhere, or to just take a flight all the way down there every month, every other month if I want to or if I need to. But I don't have the patience to be booking flights and you're just like, no, I'm not ready. And this is damn that. And in your mind is not a woman who's like, sure, I'm pretty sure her being a virgin, I'm pretty sure she's gotten horny before, but it's like you're not aroused enough to have a certain level of intimacy with me. And when you've crossed that line to where you've been intimate with a man before, it's your mind and your attitude, it will be totally different. Because if that was a woman who wasn't a virgin, look, she would have been like, look, hey, what hotel you staying at? You showed me the video. That's a nice hotel and everything. You know, can I just come down there and just can we just hang out in the hotel? Like my body's aching and everything. I just kind of want to relax. If you don't want to do that, then I can come through Sunday, but I just kind of want to relax in your room. I've had a really, really rough week. That's what somebody who's not a virgin probably would have said. And look, your body's your body. You could do whatever you want with it. That's why I never got mad at her. I never got mad, but a virgin plus a woman who's not a virgin is two totally different women, right? If you want a virgin, go. I don't want a virgin. I'm just Ozzy. I've been on here an hour telling you how it's not going to work for me because I don't want somebody who's a virgin. You see what I'm saying? My girl was my girl and I was a virgin. It took us like 30 sessions before we could have regular sex. It's definitely not worth it for short term. My girl took us 30 separate tries before we could have regular sex. It's a process to teach everything. Definitely not for a short term relationship. Well, yeah, it's and I mean I could ease a woman into it, right? But a woman who's not a virgin, it's like, you know, it would be totally different. I've been with a woman who had, not that many, her body count was very low, wasn't a virgin, and it was like, it was wonderful when we got together. It was wonderful. When you with somebody who is a virgin, it's no, I don't have the patience for that. You need somebody who kind of like lives around the way. So the guys that you going to school with who are on the same path as you need to look towards them and be interested in them, right? You need to be interested in them. A guy around your age who comes from the same background as you don't need to be looking for somebody like me because look here, I don't want you preaching to me about, hey, you can't buy my love and yada yada yada, and I'm booking flights to come to Panama, and you just want me to be focused on you, and then you feel like you can come and go as you please, right? And I'm a firm believer you doing whatever it is that you want to do, right? But we not finna meet up once and you just like, hey man, you need to understand where I'm coming from or where my dad's teachings is coming from and my upbringing is coming from, and I'm going to school and blah blah blah. No, I don't have to. I feel you, right? You could do whatever you want, but I don't have to agree with that. I can you know what I'm saying? So I didn't throw anything in her face. It's just like, hey, it don't work for me. And that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry at you. Hey man, let me be real with you. She is not a virgin. The reason she gave you that excuse because someone else is knocking it. Man, shut your dumb ass up. Shut your stupid ass up. I don't care if somebody else was knocking that down, right? I don't care if anybody else was knocking that down. I don't want it, right? And let me tell you something. She never voluntarily told me that she was a virgin. Her actions and her behavior was like, this don't sound like a woman who's had experience sexually with a man before. There's like a lack of, I was just like, while we were texting, it was like, okay. And then when we hung out, I was just like, this woman is kind of carrying herself. I was like, is she a virgin? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then she lives out in the country. So we've been exchanging messages every day. And then while we were hanging out the whole time, I was just like, nah, this woman, something's kind of off. This woman seems like a virgin. Her whole behavior, her aura, it seems like a virgin. Then when I ask, I'm like, oh, that explains everything. So look here, man, shut your dumb ass up. I don't give a damn if she's a virgin or not. I don't, and I told you, I don't want a virgin. I don't care. I'm just kind of explaining my I'm explaining my my time over there in Panama. You a Johnny come lately because that Saturday when she didn't show up, I showed up. I pulled up back to my hotel with one of the baddest bitches in Panama. I didn't care if she didn't want to smash or not, or she had a dude or not. I don't care. And you kind of came across this stream. I've never seen you before. You kind of came across this stream today because it was probably in the algorithm or whatever. But man, don't tell me about, man, the reason she gave you that excuse because someone else is knocking that down. Shut your dumb ass up. Because I really don't care if somebody was. I'm telling you the story. You don't know. You weren't there with me. The whole time I was hanging out with her last week, I was just like, yo, this is kind of like a young-minded girl. I'm like, is she a virgin? So stop that dumbass shit, man. Everybody want to be Kevin Samuels and fresh and fit. Man, stop it. So when I asked her that, it was something that I already thought she was already. So I was just like, all right, cool. I didn't care. I met up with 5 women in the week I was there. So I didn't care if she was lying to me or not. I didn't care. I'm bringing you into my world, telling you my experience. I'm just telling you about one example that week. I could have started off with the freaky shit if I wanted to. You act like because she didn't meet up with me, I just sat in my hotel room jacking myself off for the whole week as if I only flew down there to meet up with one chick. No, 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 sir. No, sir. And for those who follow my Instagram or who is on Facebook, Maurice Branch saw who I was with Saturday night. Maurice Branch, he's in the Instagram or the Facebook page. Saul is on my Instagram. He saw what I pulled up with on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. I had a different girl every day of the week. So, and I'm not bragging about it, but see, the thing is, man, is I hear a lot of guys that asking for, man, I want somebody with it's Splashway Beats. The Instagram is Splashway Beats, and the Facebook page. Hold on, let me give you the link to the Facebook page. And I don't just let anybody into the Facebook page. I could have let in more people. The problem is, it's like I get requests from these blank pages. These weird blank pages, and I like, you got to have a little bit of, you got to answer the questions. You got to have kind of like a, kind of like some activity on your page for me to let you in. Right? It's just I don't want, because I've had way too many trolls over the years, and you kind of have to be on a level to where if you start trolling, I know exactly who you are. All right. But anyways, yeah, if you go on the Facebook page, girl number 3 is at the top, right? And girl number 4 is right below her. I posted up 3 pictures of her. Girl number 4 was the baddest chick at that bar I met, and she was the baddest chick that I met in Panama. All right. But anyways, I hear on the Passport Bro sector how it's like they want to meet somebody who has little to no bodies, damn near a virgin or a virgin in another country, fly back and forth and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily want no woman that it's like, and I'm not trying to force you to do anything you don't want to do, but man, you ain't gonna talk to me and teach me and preach to me about what your dad is telling you, right? Yes, follow your dad's teachings, but at the same time, man, it's not coming from a place of like, it's coming from a place of overprotector. That's where it's coming from. And is he teaching you all the right things? Sure, but it's way outdated. We don't come up in a time where the majority of you women are holding yourself for marriage, your virginity till marriage, and having we don't live in a world like that. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, unfortunately, other women have ruined it for me over the years and other men over the years to where I'm not, I don't follow you. I don't follow women, right? I don't take orders from women, right? I don't take orders from a woman in a relationship. I'm smart enough to where I've gotten myself here. I have more life experience than you. I know what I'm doing, right? Because if I followed everything that you wanted me to do, you wouldn't respect me, right? So no, I no. So I'm not courting you. I don't have to court you. My mindset is, hey, a relationship works if the woman likes you a little bit more than a man likes you, right? That's how I roll. Two women this past week was telling me how, damn, like, so if a girl don't hit you up during the day, you don't hit them back. I'm like, look here, I don't play these little stupid ass games, right? I'm not the good morning beautiful guy. I don't do that, right? I don't do that. I don't I don't know, man. And then she was telling me, man, women, they love it when a man, well, not down here in Latin America. Don't tell me about the culture in Latin America. You got women selling pussy for $100 up the road out here, right? You got women who are flying into this country to run up a bag. The same platform I met you on, other women, they got a job and they selling pussy at the same time, trying to run up a bag before they got to go back to their home country. So no, I don't. And there's always, hoeing is the oldest profession, but we don't come from a 90% marital rate with 10% hoes out here. We come from a generation where it's kind of like you got half a hoes out here. The majority of women are half a hoes playing games or running game on men. And they're not even good hoes out here. No. No, I'm not messaging you in the morning. Right. I've done enough for you already. I didn't throw that in her face, right? I did that good deed out of the kindness of my heart. But I've done enough for you already without wanting anything in return. If you want something serious with me, you're gonna have to show me you're gonna have to show me that you're worth being in a serious relationship with. Because I don't, look here, and I'm not disrespecting them or anything. I don't talk down about anybody's financial situation. Majority of people that listen right now, we black. Like, money could be taken from you, your life could be taken from you at any given day. It doesn't matter, for no reason at all. You're disposable out here. So, I'm just blessed, and I hope you guys are blessed also to be in a good financial position. You know what I'm saying? I've had to, I've worked hard. I've seen the world, ups and downs. I bumped my head many times, and to be able to get on a track, get on track um to get on the right track and to learn by failing and be like, hey, you know, I know not to do this, that, and the third anymore, and I'm going on the right track. And I'm still learning out here. I'm still a student of the game, and I'm still learning out here. And to still be alive, it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't court, quote unquote, court women, right? I don't try. I don't. How can I put it? How can I put it? I don't prove to women that I'm the best candidate for you, right? If you don't realize that the prize in front of your eyes, then look here. Then you need to be with somebody else. I heard that plumber dude from the balloon popping show, the plumber. He's like, baby girl, you need to recognize that the prize is in front of your eyes. If you don't see that the prize is in front of your eyes, he said some fly shit, right? But look here, man. If you going by your father's teachings and you don't, and he didn't teach you, if he didn't teach you enough to recognize that, hey, and I don't want to sound cocky. I'm not cocky enough to say that she might not ever get a man like me ever again. But if you can't recognize that the prize is in front of your eyes, then I'm not the one for you. You see what I'm saying? So I don't I'm a firm believer men are the prize. Women will throw a fit and they'll say some other shit on social media. Men are the prize, right? Because look, when she saw me, she was like, "Oh my God, I was just so turned on about how tall you are," right? Tall, strong, in shape. You talking about how good I look? She didn't even know how old I was. She thought I was much younger. A lot of women think I'm much younger, right? Um, I you know, I took you on a date, even though it was Olive Garden, but you chose Olive Gardens. I took you on. You had a time with me that you never had by any man thus far in your life. You know, it's fine. I'm not. So you want somebody who's taller, stronger, uh, financially more well off than you. Then to simplify what I just said, you want somebody better. So why am I trying to prove myself to a person that feels that I'm all these attributes that she's looking for a man that most men don't have, right? Most men are not my height. And I don't want to run off the other attributes and stats also, but most of the time women want somebody that's greater than them. So why am I trying to prove myself to you, right? I'm not going to act like I'm not proving nothing to you, but you ain't going to tell me, oh, you should court me. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? All right, you a cute girl. Do you know how many cute girls? Or where you from? Do you know how many cute girls or where I'm at? Well, not as much, right? I understand you listening to your father. Cool. But fathers, man, overprotective fathers, they don't give good advice to their daughters. A lot of overprotective fathers, they don't give good advice to their daughters. They're going to teach you to be independent, stay in school, and yes, you should. But, you know, that type of talk, you telling me what I should be doing. You don't tell a man what a man should be doing for you, right? If you see that I'm a man, then hey, either respect it or check it. And if you trying to check it, I'm not staying around. It sounds like you need a beta male. You need somebody that you can run across. You gonna find you a beta male who's gonna do everything that it is you want a man to do, right? And then 5 years later down the line, you're gonna say, hey, you know, I don't even respect this dude no more. I don't even like him no more. Like he just does everything I say. I need a man. You know, I need a man to kind of put me in my place. They'll stay with the beta for like 4 or 5 years, but they get tired. They lose respect for that person after a while. They lose respect for that person. So, man, look, I told her when I was there, because I think it was Sunday or Monday. I think it was Monday. I said, I don't. So she was like, you don't want to communicate with me no more? I said, what's the point? I'm like, I'm not mad or anything. You just not my type. That's it. And I don't want anything from you. I had a good time with you, right? But you just not my type. Oh, but why? Why? I'm like, look here, man. Like, I'm like, look here. You know, I need I need a woman. You know what I'm saying? You still You're a virgin, you sound like a little girl, and then you telling me about what your father is saying or whatever. And I respect that. You should listen to your father. Don't listen to me, but I don't have to, I'm not gonna do what you want me to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your father ain't the one who's gonna be laying next to you at night. Your father ain't the one that's booking these flights. Your father ain't the one that's gonna be protector later on in life, right? As you get older, hopefully you get older enough to where you're the ones burying your parents. You know what I'm saying? Your father ain't gonna be there for you your entire life. Your father ain't the one that's gonna try to have babies with you, right? Your father ain't the one that he might offer, but your father ain't the one that's expected to foot the bill for a wedding. Your father ain't the one he might help, but he's not the one trying to, you know, build a home and a family with you. A man is. All right. Your father, he's giving you advice from a standpoint of being an overprotective father, not a man, right, who has a family with you who loves you. Right. So that's cool. You can listen to him. And I wouldn't tell you not to listen to him. You should listen to him. But I don't have to deal with this shit. I'm not gonna deal with this shit. And I'm not trying to call it shit, but it's like, look here, man. Your peers, we don't come up in a time where the majority of women are virgins until they get married. No, I'm like, before I spoke to you, I spoke to about 50 other women out here that were single mothers, ready to come through the room. They weren't eights and nines, but there's 50 other women that I spoke to you that were single mothers out here. I ain't trying to court you. What am I? You think that because you a virgin, that's diamond on a platter to me? No, you've never felt the sense of intimacy, so you're not trying to. Sometimes, man, sometimes, like, did I listen to my mother and father growing up? I listened to on some things, but I'm smart enough to know that my mother and father are full of shit on a lot of things. And I'm not going to listen to them on certain things. Right. And I turned out better than my mother and father by not listening to them on certain things. So, no, come on now. You don't tell me what I'm supposed to be doing with you. I know what I'm doing. And I'm sure your father, he's overprotected because he loves you, right? But if you keep on trying to teach me and tell me about what your dad is saying, then go in the bedroom with him and give him a baby. Go to bed with him then. All right, so look here. That's your father, but I'm daddy. And if you ain't listening, somebody's going to be a daddy, right? Somebody's going to have enough patience for you to be daddy, right? There's father and there's daddy. You can listen to your father, but at some point in time, you're going to have to transfer that sense of leadership over to a man that you deem as daddy, right? And you keep telling daddy about your father, then go to your father then. Stay up under your father then, because they're not. Look, man, fathers, they thinking about their daughter's vagina too much. Overprotective fathers, right? There's protective and overprotective. Overprotective fathers, they think about they don't want their little flower to get pollinated by some other man. And that's some sucker shit right there. You overprotective towards a 21-year-old when they at their peak. They're at their sexual peak, damn near, right? Overprotective. You telling me that your parents going to get mad that you on FaceTime with me and you haven't introduced them to, you haven't told them about me. It's like, what? All right, then. There's somebody, I'm like, look here. I'm pretty sure there's somebody for you, but it's somebody in your class that you're overlooking. And that's the problem with a lot of women, right? They overlook the guy who's suitable for them in their culture right next to them in class. You know what I'm saying? And even though you listening to your father, right? You still like, you still are fucking up when it comes to picking a man, right? Because more than likely, the type of man that your father wants you to be with, he's probably sitting right next to you in class and you overlooking all of them, acting like you can't do two things at the same time, right? So, so hey, and that guy who's right next to you, he's probably better for you because that's a man in your culture. I'm not of your culture. You still hit me up talking about how come I don't want to do this and how come I don't want to do that. I don't have to do a motherfucking thing, right? I don't have to do a motherfucking thing. And it's not about money. I don't have to dangle money in front of you. It's like money don't mean shit to women. I'm not dangling that shit to, I'm not that type of guy where it's like, damn, you should get your mind right because I could do this, this, that, and the third for you. No, that's not, you're not a man if you try to, if you do that to somebody, if you do that to a woman, that I don't really find that masculine at all. That's why I told her, I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I had a good time, right? But it's just we're not compatible. That's all. Right? I like women who kind of make an effort. I like women who, and on this trip, I wasn't really expecting to have sex with her on this trip. I was gonna have sex with somebody, just it didn't have to be her. It didn't have to be her. I'm not mad that I didn't have sex with her on that trip. But the thing is, man, it is the more she just kept talking and telling me about her dad's teachings and the strictness of her home, I was just like, yo, this sounds like a virgin. I'm like, are you a virgin? She was like, yeah. I was like, the fuck? I'm like, oh, that explains everything. I'm like, ma'am, I'm pretty sure there's a better and when you have enough respect for somebody, when you like somebody enough, right? Sometimes I respect her enough to say this ain't gonna work, and that's what I told her. I like her enough to say this is not going to work. But there is somebody better for you out there. An asshole would have still kept talking to her, flew down to Panama every month, every other month, still meeting up, waiting for her to, act like, okay, there's nobody else. It's you. I'm courting. Sex doesn't, I can hold out. It's just, spending time with you and then only seeing her once every time you go down there, but still messing around with hoes, giving your body to other women out in the street. That's not right. Right? That's not right. I respect her enough to say, I'm not the one for you. That's a man right there. A lot of y'all stay in these relationships with women knowing that you looking for a wife. They're not wifey material at all, but it's like, hey, you know what? It's something I can fuck every night, but I'm going to have my eyes open for other women. We're not married, but I'm going to have my eyes open for other women. And if she catch me cheating on her, then hey, so what? It was probably, she probably caught me by the time, I became solid with another girl. It's just, I end the relationship by the time she catches me cheating, and now you're looked at as a villain, knowing like, hey man, if you respect somebody and if you like them enough, you got to let them go. Right? I respect her enough to say, hey, this ain't it for me. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with me saying that. A lot of women who would hear this, oh, you an asshole, you a shithead, you not a real. I don't give a fuck what a woman got to say about me. Right? I got the talent and the strength to build up to build up America's wealth, America's security, right? I got the talent and the strength and the knowledge, if I want to build up, and different structures and architects, and pull drill oil up from the ground. And man, I've done a lot with this country. I've done a lot in this country. I've done some hard labor in this country that, you know what I'm saying? I got the strength, the knowledge. You see this skyline right here, right? It's not in America, it's in Panama. Man, it was men who built that. You see what I'm saying? If a man has enough patience, he can be taught how to help build that. So, any woman I didn't fuck her over. I didn't continue to talk and pretend like I'm this good guy, whatever that she wants me to be. But then on the back end, I'm fucking with other hoes in the street and be like, hey, I'll keep coming down here. I'll fuck other hoes. But whenever she's ready and have her thinking one thing, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to deceive anybody. I'm very honest, straightforward. I don't need to have her as a notch under my belt. I respect her enough to say, hey, this just ain't gonna work for me. Right? Because if somebody could say, hey, man, you're not a real man for being patient with her or whatever, then tell that to these bitches on the street that are selling pussy. Tell that to these women that don't, having children out of wedlock, and as soon as they give birth, they leave the baby daddy just to go live in the trenches, just to go live in Section 8, just to go live in the projects. Tell that to these women. They don't preach nothing. Actually, there's a YouTube channel. This black woman in Atlanta. The title's called Project Apartment Tour, right? And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a project, a tour of this project building. She was like, actually, I really do live in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, it didn't really take me that time to get approved for this room at all, but here's what it looks like. And she was like, it's just me and my son in here. And she was like, over here in this section, this is my suitcase. This is my baby stroller. So your son is young enough to still be in a baby stroller. So you left the father as soon as you gave birth, which is a lot of these women out here. Y'all been hearing me say this, right? And she going outside down the hallway, down the steps. And she was like, normally at night, there's a bunch of junkies out here getting high, and this is what the outside looks like. And we go inside the room. This is what it looks like, yada, yada, yada. Right. And when I look in the comment section, it's a bunch of women of all races just giving her money. Right. So super chat donations, you can give super chat donations to people even when it's not on a live video or if it's not streaming. Like a regular video, you can send donations to it if you want. Man, it was nothing but women sending her $100, $100, $100, $100. They sent her so much money. Oh, you're so strong. And nobody in the comment section was talking about how fucking insane that is. How you had a baby out of wedlock and just left the father. And it must have been right after you had the baby because you got a baby stroller. But all women, they would just blame the men, right? If somebody listening to this can say, hey, look, you not a man because you not patient with nobody, then shit. These women out here ain't patient with nobody either. Nobody is getting, especially women, they're not getting on other women talking about, how lackluster of a woman they really are for breaking up their homes and their relationships just to be in Section 8 living. So I don't want to hear that. I respect her enough to say, hey, I don't want to be with her. This ain't gonna work, right? But hey, man, that's my story. That's my story. If anybody wants to chime in or call in or whatever, y'all can. But that's just about um that girl right there. But Dream Life Actualized said half of hoes facts are women full-time hoes. We know the game. Yeah, man. And do I think it was another dude or whatever? No, I don't. And if it was, so what? But no, no. Me personally, I don't want no virgin. You know what I'm saying? It's like because you not trying to get in my pants. You know what I'm saying? You not. I got a good man here. He's going back to his country. He's able to come here every other month. He's able to book flights for meet him halfway somewhere. Right? He's this, that, and the third. You see, a woman who's had the sensation of sex before, that meetup, it'll win a totally different direction. It would have been a totally different direction. And that's the direction I'm trying to go into. And there's nothing wrong with that. If we can't, if we're not supposed to say anything about women going down the direction of being a prostitute, then don't say the direction. Don't tell me about what direction I need to go to as far as courting some women, because I don't have to. I can pick and choose whoever I want. And I'm man enough to say, hey, this ain't gonna work. I didn't run no game on her. I didn't lie to her. That would be evil for me to keep going down there knowing that she's making a lot of delicate moves and like, hey, all right, listen to your father. That's cool. I respect your father. I'm glad he's in your life. I'm glad he's still with your mother. I respect your mother and father's teachings because, you know, they raise a fine young lady. I don't have to go along with it. And I'm man enough to say, hey, no, this ain't for me. What I look like, keep going down there, reaching out, doing, hey, beautiful, good morning text messages every day, chasing her, right? And then while I meet up with you once or twice, I'm out here at the club paying money for other bitches. I got, you know, bodily fluid from other women all over me. When you go back home and I'm bringing other women to my hotel, is that right? No, it's not. It's not right. I'm keeping that away from her. Nah, it's not right. So that's the difference between me and a lot of y'all out there. If y'all want to keep it honest, you got all these women out here talking about how some man done cheated on them, and you probably had a good reason. It's like, hey, she ain't shit. She's not a wife. So I don't want to marry her. I really don't even want to have kids with her. But I just still keep her around because I don't have nobody else lined up for sex. Hey, man, that ain't a man to me neither. I don't need to have sex when I'm done mentally with a woman. I can wait it out, right? I'm not using nobody for sex just because, I just use it for sex, even though I know this ain't gonna work. That right there ain't no man, because you have every reason to let this person go, and that kind of teaches them, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I got to step up and do better and give the same amount of emotional effort that he's giving in a relationship. That would kind of teach them to be better to the next man. But no, now they have the excuse to be a victim because you're not emotionally secure in a relationship to let somebody go, right? To be honest with them. And that's me, right? Because let's say I'd have just kept talking to her and done all this simple shit. I'm like, ooh, I want that one day, right? And I keep going down there, meeting up with other women while I'm supposed to be talking to her. And if she sees that and she catches me doing that, then it's kind of like, I don't trust men because they're this, that, and the third. But you didn't show somebody how. Hey, look, you didn't show her. You didn't really teach her anything, right? You had every reason to teach somebody, not a lesson, but teach somebody like, hey, look, this ain't gonna work out here, and this don't work for me. But a lot of brothers greedy, selfishness, and now she has the right to play victim because of deception, knowing that really how she was didn't really work for you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just one of them ones where like, hey man, it's just best to let you go. I'm upfront with it. I don't hide it. Um, I'm not thirsty, right? I don't need. I don't need. Uh, I really don't need like a certain kind of woman or whatever. I don't need any particular woman. You know what I'm saying? I know what I want. I know what's best for me. You see what I'm saying? So I don't need her, right? Most women, they need a man because even if they don't want a man full time in the house, they still want kids. So you need a man to have kids. And a lot of brothers are just used as baby, excuse me. A lot of brothers are used as baby makers out here. So where you trying to go next? I do want to check out Dominican Republic. I'm gonna stick with Latin America. I will be going to Mexico soon, but I'm still sticking with Latin America. I'm still sticking with Latin America. So anything between Mexico and Panama, I'll stick with. I feel real comfortable in Panama. I might just go back. But um see, let me tell you something. When you go to Latin America, you see the women there, you see how many fine women are out there. You don't want to go back to Asia. I'm like, what was I doing in Asia? I don't want to go back to Asia. The women, being in Asia where it's like the culture is very, very anti-black. There's colorism in Latin America, but it's like there was no woman that I walked around with women of all different pigmentation. They did not treat me like, oh, I don't want to be seen with you in public, or maybe I shouldn't be dealing with a black guy because this is how people will look at me if I'm walking around with a black guy, because Latin America is mainly the mulattoes and Africoid black people out there, the Afro Latinos and the mulatto Latinos out there. That's what Panama really was. So, I mean, it was never, I didn't get treated like how I did in Asia. So, I'm definitely trying to just stay in Asia. The bodies everywhere else, they're not built like women had all the body parts that us brothers like. They got the build that us brothers like, right? Why would I go anywhere in Europe? Why would I go to Asia? Why would I go to Canada? Right? Who is this? Somebody's hit me up. Oh, girl number 5. She's hit me up. Okay. She sent me some pictures. Girl number 5, she's not an 8 or a 9, but very cooperative. So, does anybody else want to speak? they go to link right there. They'll go to StreamYard link. If you have StreamYard and you want to chop it up, or you want to give your 2 cents, or hey man, if you think I'm wrong or you want to argue with me, you could click the link. Lucrative George, if you're still around, you could click the link and you could argue with me if you want. But they go to link right there. If you want to give your 2 cents, you want to give your experience, or hey, am I wrong? Let me know. Right? If you want to say, hey man, you're an impatient prick, you done for looking over a woman who is a virgin, or if you want to hit me up and say, hey, look, you stupid as hell. That girl, she went and fucked somebody else and yada yada yada. Okay. You can hit the link. Or if you want to ask more questions about Panama, you can hit the link and ask. Right there. Right. Right. Let's see what let's see what this girl's talking about. But does anybody have anything they want to share? Any questions they want to ask? So go ahead, man. Go ahead. Costa Rica. Dream Life. Okay, hold on. Dream Life, you could click the link, but I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and don't judge me because, well, I will wash my hands, but hold on real quick. I will wash my hands. All right, I'm back. Maurice Branch, Costa Rica. I am interested in going to Costa Rica. I just need to do my research. But I would love to go to Costa Rica one day. Ozzy, did you retire from Canada? Well, I can't because I'm in Canada every week. But am I interested in Canada like I once was from before? No. Right? No. All right, so hold on. Let me put on my headphones. Wait a minute. All right, coming to the stage, we got Dream Life. How's it going?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. What's on your mind?
Awesome, man. Yeah, just I'm usually in the background most times you come live and stuff. So, I enjoy listening to you while I'm like doing work or some other stuff. But I wanted to come up and say what's up.
That's
But
crazy because like there's people like yourself who's kind of in the background, but it's like this is my first time actually seeing you before. So,
mhm.
I feel you, some people they just want to listen and pass on by, but it'd be nice for more people to just stop by and say hello. But what's on your mind?
Yeah, man. I wanted to ask you, like, do you have like a specific reason you traveling? You just kind of living like the bachelor lifestyle, or
Um, well, I've always been interested in traveling ever since I was a kid because My mother, my father, my dad, he used to live in Germany. He's
Mm,
traveled all throughout Europe. So he would tell me stories when I was a kid, and he would show me pictures of him traveling. One of my uncles, he lives in Germany. My mother, um, she had like souvenirs from Korea when she traveled over there on the wall. And, ever since I was a kid, and, this was back during dial up internet, I was always curious about what the other side of the world looked like.
mm,
So, watching Rush Hour 2, it's like, okay, damn, Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, they're in Hong Kong. So I would Google Hong Kong, the images, and I'm like, okay, damn, that's fly. And I was always curious about the other side of the world because a lot of my family members, they've experienced the other side of the world. This
mm,
particular trip, my mother's side of the family, they're all from Panama. So that was in my household growing up. My mother was more Americanized because she came to America when she was like 5 years old. So she's basically an American, but knowing where my mother's side of the family was from, it was just I was always curious. That curiosity is always there and them traveling. So, I started off going to Canada and I lived in Canada for some years and I'm like, well, I want to go across the water. So then I went across the water and I experienced that. I love the lifestyle over there. It's not really so much of a bachelor lifestyle. It's just a different quality of life. I'm not gonna say
mm.
better or worse, but it's a different quality of life that you get hooked to. Once that dream, once I woke up from that dream and kind of realized where I was, I just say, hey man, it's time to come back to America. So I would love to just still travel, but go to places that are much closer. Panama from where I'm at in Houston, it's like 1,700 miles away. That's like taking a flight from here to New York City.
Right.
It's not that far. And there are places that are tourist destinations for passport bros that are even closer than a Panama City. And the women, I'm still a single man, right? I still like traveling. I still like to date and still meet a woman, right? In Latin America, those women, they got the bodies that we like.
Facts.
So in Canada, they don't necessarily have the bodies that we like. Right now, it's wintertime up there. It's like negative 20 degrees. Those women are staying inside, eating a bunch of junk food. Those women, they don't really work out like that. Women, they get fat in the winter. They kind of slim up in the summertime. It's very, feminism is very heavy in, you know, uh, in Canada. So we like someplace, we like to go someplace where there's patriarchy there. It's a patriarchal system, and the women that are built the way we like. In Asia, the women aren't really built the way we like. Europe, a lot of the women aren't built the way we like. So it's either Africa, the Caribbean islands, or Latin America. And Panama is like the best of pretty much everything you could think of. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I was wondering, I was asking because it's like, the story that you had with the Panamanian chick, you can't really say that you a bad guy or nothing like that. If your goal wasn't like, like long-term relationships or marriage or anything. But just listening to you, I'm glad that you took that approach because I be hearing cats, they was doing exactly what you were saying, where they would, just string her along, not really do something, try to get the box, but they knew damn well they wasn't trying to get nothing from her as far as like long term. And it's like you going over there being like this, the reason why she may flip. I'm like, you just creating the exact women that are in the states that you're trying to get away from.
Exactly. Exactly. And I've always been like that. I've always been the guy that I've always been the guy that, you know, I'm quick to just not let somebody go to boost up my ego. Is
Mhm.
I'd rather see you be able to find a guy. There's a guy out there that's probably who has enough patience or is okay with how your personality is in a relationship. I'd be way too selfish to keep you around just to use you for sex, knowing that I don't see a future with you like that. And
Right.
too many men, they make that mistake because they, I guess it took them a long time to even get a woman like that.
Hmm.
And then by letting them go, it's going to take even more time to look for a different woman that they would like. You got to sift through a lot of women. I'm just a man that, hey man, it is what it is. I want there to be mutual respect. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, but they'll realize later on, like, hey man, I appreciate that he let me go. Besides, use me. And there's a lot of men out here you know, who are dealing with women that they don't deem fit for them. But it's like now you're looked at as the bad guy and evil
Yep.
because you didn't really have enough confidence in yourself to let that person go and to learn, like, hey, you know what? You know, this is what I look for in a man, but maybe my reality, maybe my views need to change just a little bit. Maybe I need to tweak my views, or maybe there's a man out there who's perfectly fine with the way I am. Because women are confused out here. We talk about how delusional they are, but their DMs and their phone, it says something totally different.
Hmm.
So I don't want a woman dealing with me to be like, well, if I'm not the one for him, why is he still having sex with me? I don't want a
Right.
woman confused at all. I'm just very direct. I don't have problems. I don't have a problem getting another woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I am with her. The way I am with her is the way I've been with every other woman I ever dealt with. Hey, this ain't gonna work because this, that, and the third. And I hope you find what it is that you're looking for.
Hmm. And I'm glad you said that, because like that's one of the things that only people who really travel understand what I'm about to say, is that you really have to, and I'm not saying you, but just in general, you gotta like deprogram your mindset from the American mindset. Guys will go over there, like you said, and they'll do those girls dirty, and it's simply because they come from a place where if they find a girl of that caliber, they know, just because of the BS that they got to deal with on a regular basis, it's going to be a long time before they get another girl like that. So they want to keep her on the back burner, because they don't realize how abundant it is, especially if you are a decent looking dude who got a little paper on them in these countries. They don't realize that like you could easily pull another girl just like that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it may not be every day of the week, but it's going to come a lot faster than it would in the States. And so, yeah, yeah, man, for sure. I also wanted to mention that one of the things that I'm learning, especially about like Latin countries, I'm more of like a Colombian guy. I've been to Mexico. I was born in Panama, but that was because of my parents were in the military. But it's Panama, and then I'm a more of a Colombian guy. I think this is my third or fourth time there. And one of the things I'm realizing dealing with the Latin women is, it's like, I don't want to say they're not intelligent. I don't want to say that. I want to say like they're very susceptible to I get, how do I say this? Like they're very susceptible to like dominant men, or just being assertive in general. It's like whatever, like whenever because I don't know if you learn Spanish or anything like that, but if you in English, we use a lot of like should have, could have, would have language. We make like our language like implies things. Like for me, what I've learned the Spanish, it's really hard to do that. Like in fact, I haven't been successful with that at all. Every time I'm like should have, could have, would have, or implied things, they always take it like they either don't understand, or they're like, oh, he just means no. And it wasn't until I started being like extremely direct, like more so than I'm used to being in America, that I started getting like the result, like a lot better results. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to understand that, a lot of, especially like Latin cultures, they have like the, what they call like the machismo thing, where,
Right.
it's like the guys are just, yeah, they got that. It's like that's what they're born with, that's what they grow up in. And so they're used to a man saying, like, I need you here at this time, show up. Which like, oh, I'm tired. Like, no, I need you here today at blah blah blah. And then they just do it. And it's like a part of me, I had to deprogram that, because I'm like, damn, I'm being a little, a little harsh, a little mean. But the reality is, like, that's how a lot of them, you got to communicate with them if you're trying to like not even get your point across, but just like show them like, hey, I'm the man right now, and you know, you the woman.
Man, that's very, very, very good game right there. Because most men, they don't come from that. Like you said, in America, they don't come from that. And it takes a couple of years to actually learn the culture of a local country.
Mhm.
In America, well, in when I was living in Asia, it came a point in time where I knew the culture well enough to where I didn't let women get over on me on a lot of things. A woman telling me what I need to do or whatever, I said, ma'am, you're over 25 years old. You're done in the dating scene where you're from. You're lucky that
Mhm.
I'm even speaking to you right now because you can't even get a man from your culture, even if you wanted to right now. I'm not telling you to do anything that's harmful to you, but I am setting the tone in this relationship, right? You could do whatever it is that you want to do, but I'm telling you to do this. If you don't want to do it, take care. And it's like a black man telling them that, you know, it bothered them that it's kind of like, damn, I'm here long enough to where I learn the culture. That's why a lot of Asian women, they're very attracted to men who are new to that country or who are visitors who are on vacation because it's like you don't have that much experience here to learn the culture and they could present something new to you
Mhm.
and you come from a culture where a lot of men they bend over backwards for women and such is not the case in Asia. Hell, such is not the case in most countries,
In the world, right?
right? So that's why that's why she didn't show up on Sunday. That this girl that I'm talking about, because like you said, I wasn't direct. I was
Mhm.
already upset about not her not wanting to show up on Saturday, right? But at the end of the day, in my mind, I'm like, hey man, a woman could do whatever it is that she want to do. If she don't want to show up, she don't have to show
Facts.
up. Because I had another chick in my room that night, Saturday, the day she was supposed to show up. But like you said, if you know, learning Spanish and being very direct, she said, you know, would it be okay if I show up on Sunday? But my answer was, hey man, I'll be around. You can hit me up and see what I'm doing, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. If I'd have said, like you said, no, I need you to show up. No, you need to show up here on Sunday. I need you here on Sunday. Show up here at this time on Sunday. She probably would have showed up. But it's like I
100%.
wasn't I, 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 I wasn't bothered if she didn't show up or not because I had a chick that was even better than her.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, do you have well uh, do they have like a on StreamYard, they have like a private, you can send a private message, right?
Yeah, the private chat.
Do you have Instagram?
Yeah, I do. Let me
In the
follow you.
private chat, send me your Instagram. I want to show
All
you
right,
something.
let me see. I forgot my own handle.
As a matter of fact, I'll send you mine on the private.
Okay.
Um, actually, send me a message. Send me a message on the private. Just say hi or whatever, and then
I'll
see
type
if I
in.
see it or not. Because my
And
Instagram is my name.
there you go. That's my. It's the.
That's your it's not it's open, right? It's not private.
No, it's private.
All right. I'm gonna send. I think you can still send messages.
You
Okay.
follow me. I'll just follow you back.
All right. Is that you right there? You see it?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So I'm gonna show you a picture of. I'm gonna show you a picture of old girl. Right. I want you to tell them who's listening right now. Where would you rank her? Actually, I'm gonna send you a video that she sent me. Uh, wait a minute. Can I send a message? I can't send a picture because you didn't, or a video because you didn't. You got to follow back. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
All right, I followed you back.
All right, hold on. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna send you something. Where's this video? Where's this video? Where's this? Okay. Okay. That's the 21-year-old. Wait a minute. It's like a video, so it's still sending. All right, what would you rank her? Be honest.
Well, let me see. Definitely an 8.5 for sure.
Yeah. Not an ugly chick at all.
At all.
All right. 21. So uh even in Houston, Texas, where I'm at, you don't see women like her walking around regularly
Mm-hmm.
in Houston. As a matter of fact, I would consider this woman right here a head turner. You don't see head turners like that in Houston on a regular basis. I hate to say it. A lot of people act like, man, some of the baddest women are in Houston. I'm not saying that all women in Houston are ugly, but most women on a regular basis, most days when I go out, I don't see head turners just like that. That is normal in Colombia, Panama, and different countries in Latin America. Am I right?
Facts.
All right. So now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send you another picture. I'm gonna send you a picture of the chick that, since she didn't show up on Saturday, talking about, oh, I'm too tired, this, that, and the third. I'm gonna show you who I took back to the hotel. Okay, I just sent you 3 more pictures. That's who spent the night with me at my hotel. All right.
Man, go ahead. What you about to say?
Now, what would you rank her?
I'm putting her on the same level. I like her body the most.
Right. So when you in Latin America, if a woman doesn't want to show up, right? If she's too tired and you think something funny's going on, it's like, hey, like you said, I could be because that's how that culture is. But I could be like, hey, all right, take care. Why? Because I can go out, I can hit the streets and pull that night. So that's kind of why I wasn't that direct with her, because man, I know what I could do in the streets.
And that's the thing. Like I completely understand. The only reason why I was saying that and I learned that is because, you know, I'm in a relationship. And so I was like, okay, how do I make this like a lot better? But from your point of view, Latin America spoils you, especially as like an American black man, because, you know, like I'm sure you probably dated around Houston, and most dudes, you know, dated like American girls. We know that if you're gonna go out and hit the streets and do all these things, it's gonna be full of a lot of BS. You gotta jump through a shit ton of hoops. Girls gonna be playing around with you. But for me, like in Latin America, I don't even. First of all, the games are a lot less, but I don't even mind it because if a girl's like, oh, da, 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 like you said, like you already got like 3 in the chamber. So it's like you don't even care if a woman is like either playing games or maybe she's trying to run game on you or something. You don't care because again, like, you know, immediately you could just go bag something, and she's gonna be of higher quality. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know, that's why a lot of guys from other cultures, they don't do well in America, because most women, they want men of their own culture. And some women, especially in America, if his accent is too heavy, you know, sometimes it's kind of a turn off. I get people, you know, women, they want men of their own culture naturally. But that machismo, that level of machismo, it don't really work in America.
At all.
Like even African men, they're used to, like you said, you know, the men are very direct in their culture, It's like, no, I'm not asking you. I'm not suggesting. I'm telling you what to do right now. You need to do
Exactly.
it. And when they come over to America and they try to get with American, it don't work at all.
Hmm.
So that's why it's like for us, it works in reverse. It's like,
Hmm.
you know, a lot of men from other cultures, they kind of have to either get with their own women when they get to America, or they gotta, be reprogrammed. Us
Right.
American men, it's like we gotta be reprogrammed, and it'll work in your favor. And even if, like you said, even if you don't want to reprogram, you still have other options.
Hmm. That's why it's like that's the one of the things I've learned is that American women, or maybe just American society, has really programmed men at a lesser form. And one of my favorite examples that I like to when I talk to other people is and again, on average, I'm not saying you can't ever do this, but on average, we know what it is. It's like if you go to a girl and you talking to a girl and she's wearing something crazy and you say, "Hey, I don't want you wearing that no more. Like, go ahead and put that away. Don't ever wear that again." She gonna hit you with the "It's my body, my choice. Don't tell me what to wear." Yada yada yada. Whatever. You do
Right.
that in Latin America and you say, "Oh, I don't like that. Go put that up." She gonna hit you with the "Okay," and just put it up and change. And I remember the first time I did it, it was such like a mind bending thing for me because I'm so used to doing that. And then, of course they want to mouth off or they want to
Push
use some
back.
BS or excuse. And so that's when it's like, I'm like, oh shit, I really gotta reprogram everything that I know. Like I could be a real man here and nobody bats an eye, even in public and everything. So yeah, man.
Right. 'Cause when I was in Panama, I didn't see any masculine women on the
Mhm.
streets like that. I didn't see any masculine women. As a matter of fact, you said you're in a relationship. You in a relationship with a woman in Colombia?
Yeah.
How long you been with her?
I want to say like 4 months now. About
Oh,
four
okay.
months. Yeah,
She
she's
she
from
okay
so
with she
you
okay with
said
the long
what?
distance?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm her first everything, and I wanted to mention that too. Like the bozo who said in the comments that that girl's like having some other dude on the side and blah blah blah. It's like when you don't travel, it's like I completely understand why you would say something like that because we so used to our women running games on us like that, telling us they virgins and stuff like that. But like when you go to these different countries and somebody tells you like, oh, they are virgin, of course, the first thing in my head is a red flag. I'm like, yeah, all right, because that's just how we're trained. But when you actually get to know somebody and dive deep into they past and things, you like, oh shit, like they really are, because they just be doing things that's so green that you're like, what, like why are you doing it? Like you said with that girl, like you knew she was a virgin before she said it, just because of the things that she was doing and how she was
Right.
acting. That you like, what the heck? And it's
Right.
like it's not until that. So yeah, that's at first it's like you're very skeptical, which I mean you should be, but when you really dive deep into it, you're gonna realize that, oh damn, like they really are most of them really are virgins. And the girls who are lying about it, that their game is so elementary that you can easily spot it. Because again, we come from the damn near hardest women in the world. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like they got extreme level game when it comes to wholeness. And so usually when I talk about or when I'm going to Latin countries, it's like their girls who are like that are nowhere near on that level. And so you can easily spot it from a mile away.
Exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's like, you know how they say like New York City, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. If
Facts.
you can get women in America, you can get women anywhere. Damn near, because there's some countries where uh, anti-blackness is very, very heavy. So in America, it's like if you could, I just say it like this. Let me rephrase that. If you could peep game in America, you could peep game anywhere. And you're right. Uh, you know, see, like you said, that lucrative guy who said that, I don't know how well traveled he is, but I will say this, man. It's no, like if she was messing around with another guy, see, most guys who are Americanized, who have dealt with women long enough, that would be a valid reason to say that
Mhm.
about an American woman.
Right.
But that woman in Panama, no, I can tell. I'm like, nah, something's something's off. There's something very juvenile about this woman, even though she's 21. I'm like, hey, she I think she's a virgin. And it was days later when I asked her, and she said yes. And I'm like, I knew it. But for
Mhm.
somebody to say that, it's like, hey man, like you really don't know, you really don't know how other women are in other
Mhm.
cultures in different parts of the world. So yeah, you're right. You know, down there, um, it's like good looking women is a dime. Like good looking women, they're everywhere. It's like every other woman
Right.
is both of those pictures that I just showed you. Every other woman, you know. So it's like I don't need to. I'm not worried about the only woman out of all the women that I met was this one chick who expected me to kind of. There's another chick who expected me kind of to chase her. And she was like,
Mhm.
damn, when somebody doesn't text you in a couple of days, you don't hit them back to see how they're doing. And she bad, but I'm like, do you know where I'm at? The thing is about her, the thing about her is she spent time in America before. So
Mm.
she probably was like, she probably looked around and said, damn, uh, the women out here are obese. And I'm walking around, it's like, I'm shit, I'm one of the baddest bitches out here. Right.
Thanks.
And I'm considered normal where I'm from.
Mhm.
So she probably knows it's like, I know where you from. I know the quality of women where you from. Do you realize who I am? And I'm like, look, I don't give a damn. I can make those trips happen every month, every other month if I want to. Do you know where I'm at right now? It's not about where I'm from. Do you know where I'm at right now? I can get another you. Like it's no problem out here. Right. So, but another me, because a lot of them women down there, they love American men.
Yeah.
So look here, man. It's like there are gonna be some women that'll run these little funny style games, but to all the guys that are listening, there's so many bad women. When I say bad, I'm talking about fine women in Latin
Mhm.
America. You move on very quick. Like the games, you have an option. You could be very direct and say, knock that shit off right now, or you can I send you right back out there in the streets. Or
Mhm.
you could say, all right, that's cool, take care. And you can get another one of them right away. The
Mhm.
options, you don't have to put up with nobody's bullshit. You really don't have to put up with nobody's bullshit anywhere around the world, but in Latin America, no. No.
At all. And that's really what it is, because it's like I didn't really enjoy dating until I got into Latin America, just because of the games and the BS that I had to deal with in the States. I realized that, it's a lot of it's frustrating for all of that, because it's like the amount of options that you have readily available. That's not gonna be hot and cold, one day, and then the next they don't want to fuck with you. But well, in Latin America, it's like when if a girl's playing games, you don't even like it doesn't even phase you, because like I said, you got like three other girls that you could hit up and try to work something out. And it's a constant pipeline of that getting added to you. And that's even with online dating. We're not even talking about if you're a person that touches the streets, and you can have an actual conversation with somebody, then it is really different. And like you said earlier, it's like you meet somebody who you think is a damn near 8, 9, 10 out of 10 bad, but again, she's regular down there. You know what I'm saying? And so it's best of both worlds, because not only is she bad to you, but she has the personality, or it wants to be treated like a regular person, because everybody around her treat her like a regular person, because she is a regular person. Versus, if that type of girl, I think about it all the time. I'm like, if you were in the States, you'd be easily making 10 bands a month if you started the OnlyFans, because you're just that bad. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? But down here she's working at Frisbee. You feel what I mean? So, which is like the like a KFC, and for y'all who don't know,
Right.
but yeah.
Right. It's like I had to, like, the culture shock was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The culture. This was my first time as an adult going to Latin America. I went to Mexico as a kid, but it was for like, I was like 12. It was like a church group. You helping out the less fortunate over at the border. That's something totally different. This is my first time in Latin America as an adult, and it's like the culture shock was crazy. My first night there was Tuesday night last week, and I'm at damn, what's that area called? My hotel is the Intercontinental.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the Intercontinental, it's called Cinta Costera. That's like um that's like the bike path, the run, like everybody's jogging, running,
Yeah.
playing tennis and exercising down that strip. It's along the water, really, really nice view. And man, it was like I had that stream is still up. My first night, it was so many like eights and nines just jogging out there.
Yep.
Like I kept having to pause and stop because it was just that many women that were bad. And most people will say like, hey, Panama ain't even got the baddest. They keep, talking about Colombia and Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it now. I see it. And it's like, I'm not doing this to try to get over on nobody. I'm not the type of person to get over on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take advantage of no woman, because some women will say, well, you just going down there because, since it's a very machismo type of culture that you could just take advantage of women and put them down and use your money. I didn't do that to not one woman down there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, I'll admit, I didn't take the direct approach. I took the, I have other options approach because, man, like, I'm smart enough and I've have enough experience to where I know how to lead a woman. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
can hear a woman out. It's not like I completely shut off a woman and she has no say so in a relationship. No, I can hear a woman out, but I know better, especially if I'm dealing with a 21-year-old. I know better. I know the direction we need to go for success, for a successful family relationship. It's like you don't know anything. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know anything at 21 years old. You think you don't know, and you telling me about what your father's saying. Your mother and father are giving you advice that they're not even practicing. Your mother and father was probably fucking the first time they met, right?
Facts.
Mother and father, your mother probably said, "Hey, all right, yeah, I'm going to school, but your father, he was clapping these cheeks every weekend when I was going to
Mm-hmm.
school." That's how you came about. So, and then it's like, it's one thing when they do it, but it's another thing when they have a daughter and they give
Mm-hmm.
them the total opposite advice that they didn't even follow when they were growing up. And so I know what to do. I know what I'm doing. And hey, if you not, if you can't see that, then hopefully you find somebody to where they can make you realize and you can see that. Because I'm not gonna sit here and run down my resume and tell you what you got in front of you. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not cocky enough to do that. I know I'm not the best thing walking these
Mm-hmm.
streets out here wherever I go. There's always somebody better. I'm humble enough to say that. But you know, there's another you out here.
Mm-hmm.
I still only showed you two girls. I mean, do you know how many girls I got in
Listen,
my phone?
you didn't got to tell me. I already understand it. I
Right,
already know.
right. So all I could say to her is, hey, God bless,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? Mace, rapper from Harlem, New York, he said something
Mm-hmm.
that stuck with me this whole. He said, "Cut a bitch off for a week and let her know what she missed. 100 grand worth of shit, nigga, glow on my wrist. It's cut a bitch off for a week and let her know what she missed. You know, hey, DJ Quick also said, hey, leave a bitch alone. If she's not cooperating, you didn't gain nothing, so just leave her alone. I I'm leaving her alone. You know what I'm saying? I just leave them alone if they're not if they're not you don't see the prize before your eyes, I just gotta leave you alone. I ain't gotta be direct and get mad and tell you what you need to do in front. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it
Yeah.
out with somebody, whether it's me or somebody. You'll figure it out one day. And unfortunately, see, cooperating with me, you don't have to learn the hard way. I'm bold enough to say that cooperating with me, you don't have to go through. You don't have to sift through guys and keep going through what it is that you're going through. It's the easy route to go through me and my leadership. But hey, if I'm letting you go, hey, you're gonna learn the hard way. Hopefully,
And
you
that
don't have to when you meet the next guy. But hey, it's a cold world out here. You're gonna learn the hard way. So, hey, I always tell women take care, especially in Latin America. It's way too easy to find another 9 or 8. And hell, Frisbees, they working at McDonald's, Popeyes. Like it's just bad, like 9s, 8s, and 9s everywhere.
and that's one of the things that was like I was learning. And again, these are just my observations, not set in stone. But it's like when that's why I was asking, like, what did you like kind of looking for in the beginning? If you're looking for like short term or anything like that, then like you said, just toss them in and then get the next one. But it's like if you're want something like to develop, you almost have to. And this is again, like I said, like I don't want to say they're unintelligent. I don't want to say that, but it's like they're not. For what I'm seeing, it's like it's always like short term thinking. Whereas like they don't say like, oh, this is a rich dude. He can add too much value into my life. Let me go ahead and make sure I act right. And that it's like it's never that. At least from my experience, it's like they don't think like that. It's always like who's the dominant person in my life right now. And that like when you was talking about that girl and she was like mentioning her father, it's like, yeah, that's classic because it's like that's who the dominant force is in her life. If that was me, and again, this is like effort now. If that was me, I would have been like, oh, you plan on marrying your father or you plan on getting a relationship with me? You know what I'm saying? Like you pretty much got to let them know like I'm the dominant person in your life. Like that's who I am. And you don't have to listen to your father when you have me. Your father's not gonna always be there. You're gonna listen to your husband. You're gonna listen to your father. You get what I'm saying? And it's like when you say shit like that, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like, oh, I understand, like, oh, da 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 da. But again, that's like if you have the patience for that. That's like if you really want to like mean something. That I'm learning that. That's why it's like I'm getting this assertive or dominance game up. I'm already like a assertive dude, but again, being in America, you learn how to like train it back a little bit just to improve your results. But down there, it's like you got to let that thing fly because it's like if once you set up that you're that guy in her life, she's gonna be like, okay, let me listen to this guy. But they definitely don't respect the it's not even respect. They just don't respond to like should have, could have, would have language because they're so used to a guy saying like, come here, do this, da da da, this or that, blah blah blah. And a lot of them like enjoy it and like it. So that's like one of the things where it's like if you want to really like be that dude in her life, you essentially have to find out who is the dominant voice in her head and then just replace that guy. Like yeah, like you said that she was a virgin. It's like what I've learned dealing with virgins is like they'll come over, like they're not thinking like, oh, he's just gonna come over and smash and da da da. Because again, that's like you're implying something. They're not implying anything. It's basically like, hey, I want you to come over so we can fuck, or I want you to come over so you can chill. She'll really think that you're trying to chill and just like come over her house and chill, not like just come over and fuck. It's so weird, but like once you start to get used to it, you be like, okay, I understand what he's talking about.
See, and I mentioned that earlier before. I said that earlier. I was like, look, man, your dad, you keep telling me about your dad. So go ahead and have a baby by your dad. Go marry your father. Go fuck your father then. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mentioned before. So, it's great to hear you say that also. But
Yeah, man.
I'm definitely am getting used to Latin America. And still, like, even though there's a lot of 8s and 9s, man, at the end of the day, we always want that one that is that we could put our um we just want that one where we can focus on and invest in, at the end of the
Yeah.
day. I don't want to be sifting through a whole bunch of women my whole life, but I ain't finna You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I ain't listening. I ain't following no woman. You know what I'm saying? But I don't just want to sift through a whole bunch of women my whole life. So yeah, I'm gonna take a different approach with the women in Panama the next time I go. What will I go to a different country? For now, I think this year is just stick with Panama. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, but like you said, if there's somebody that I want, you know, and I'm like, you know, I'm really feeling her. Just got to be a little bit more direct, like you said. Like, nah, because to us, it sounds kind of, I guess, in our mind, like I just try to keep it P because it's like, all right, you know, if you don't want to, that's fine. I get me another one because yes, men need to be direct, but at the same time, it's like, say no, you need to be here now, and I need you. It's like
Yeah.
to
It's different,
somebody
man.
from America, it sounds like I'm being desperate and thirsty
Exactly.
for this chick, and I'm making demands, and then once you get used to that, it's like it's almost as if then you take it to the next level, and it's kind of like I just keep it so player that I'm like, all right, like, do you know who else I got on my line? Like, all right, you
Mhm.
can you telling me about what? I'm like, no, I don't look, baby girl, I don't need you. Baby, like, but at the end of the day, they know they're not the only pretty one. It's like I could see if we was in America, she was kind of playing those tit for tat games, but it's like, you know, in Panama, me looking at her as a 9 or an 8, it's almost like, well, you know, whenever she goes out, she sees the same things that I see.
Mhm.
So that's why most of the women over the week, when I kind of, because there was 2 women, actually, there was multiple, there was like 3 or 4 different women that was hitting my line this week. About 3 of them kind of acting funny style a little bit. And they was like, you know, they was like, damn, like, so you just gonna stop communicating with me, or you're not gonna check up on me, and you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that. But those same women, if they were in America, it'll be like, all right, well, fuck him. Like, you don't want
Exactly.
him. It's like I'm a 9. Like, fuck him. Like, I don't. He ain't even got. he ain't even. You know, he ain't got no yacht. He ain't got no.
Yeah.
He
You
ain't
don't
got a
make three
plane.
fifty million a year.
Yeah, you know, he drives. You know, he drives an American car. You know, I'm dealing with guys that, you know, pulling up in Ferraris and
Yeah,
Lamborghinis. Like,
exactly.
yeah, whatever. Like, he lucky I gave him a chance. Like, that's how a lot of those same women I showed you. That's how they would be thinking in America. But it's
Mhm.
like I am, man. It's I'm not
Refreshing.
ashamed to say that I'm getting used to the culture down there and I'm adjusting.
And that's the thing that I love the most is because it's like I felt like girls were being girls. You know what I'm saying? Like they were being like you said, this was something like it where it's like, you know, you're basically telling her, you're texting her like, hey, you know, like I'm through with this and da da da. And then she was like, wait, why? You know what I'm saying? Like she really wanted to know. Do that shit in America. You're gonna be like, all right, I think I'm just done with it. They're gonna be like, bye. And
Yeah,
immediately just move on. But down here again, like you said, it's like when you kind of like, no, I need you to come here, da da da. It's like you kind of feel like it's a little desperate and things like that. But it's like, bro, like that's what a lot of people, that's what a lot of at least the women that I was running into and talking to, not all of them, of course, but most of them, is like they wanna take it to that point to where you're like, hey, I don't like this. They're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, what happened? Like they want to get to the point where they like, I don't know how to say this. Whereas, like you say, okay, I'm gonna leave, and then she says why, you know, or just things like that. She wants to get to the bottom of it. She wants to figure it out. Like, oh, maybe I can change, or maybe I can do this. Like, give me another chance. Like, you'll never hear shit like that in the States, but like down there, like you really will.
right.
Because again, it's like that's why I said like girls are being girly again. Where like she'll if she feels some type of way, not in a bad way, but like she feels like sad or something, she gonna communicate that. Like, oh, like I'm feeling sad, like I really don't want you to leave, or you know, I had a good time, that type of thing. And it's super refreshing because it's like, damn, like if you have any type of problem, at least you know the girls that are interested in you, they're gonna want to solve it. They're gonna be like, oh, like what can I do? Like how do you want this? How do you know?
Hey, check your messages in your Instagram again. I just sent you a different girl. What rating would you give her?
Let me see. I gotta see the body. But just face that's what I'm saying. It's just like just FaceTime or just face card alone. Like these are eights and nines. And it's like that's like this is so common in Latin America that is like, damn, like you said, you sent me these 3 pictures. It's like again, if she's acting up, you got the second one. If she's acting up, you got the third one. And it's
Right.
like that's the it's just I love you making me miss Colombia, man. I just got back like 2 weeks ago, man. I want to go back so bad.
Right. See, all right, that third chick that I just sent you, like she was basically saying all the things that I want to be married and I don't care about long distance and I'm saying all these good things that I wanted to hear, right? And
Yeah.
then she whenever she said like she would be working on something like, I need you to I want to video call you. Yeah, let me finish this what I'm doing and then I'll call you. She wouldn't even call. So then like the next day I wouldn't hear from her. I wouldn't hear from her like 2 days. And then 2 days later, she like, well, damn, like, so when somebody doesn't call, like you don't check up on them, you don't see. I'm like,
No, that's games to
you,
me.
you could do whatever it is that you want to do. If you said you're gonna call me, then you need to be about your word. You said you was gonna call me, you never did. So I mean, you could do whatever you
Yeah.
want. I don't care. I'm not playing these games with you. And when I said that to her, then she video called me like asking me the same thing. I'm like, man, read your message. I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm busy right now. Oh, so you with another girl? I'm like, this time I'm by myself, but no, I'm not with another girl. And a chick like her in America, if she said, yeah, I'll call you. Yeah, I'll call you when I'm done working on this. You wouldn't hear from a chick like that until like 6 months later.
Yeah.
6 months later, oh, hey, how's it going? Who the fuck is this? And then she'll send a picture, and it's like, I'm like, oh, damn, I have been talking to you since February. It's September. Yeah, I know. I was just real busy. What you up to? I'm like, oh, who fucked you over this time? What dude did you get into a relationship with, and then he fucked you over this time? And in America, either she won't hit you back ever again, or she'll hit you back like 6-7 months later because something didn't work out with a different guy. And no, that chick hit me back like 2 days later, like, oh man, why didn't you message me? Somebody doesn't hit you up, you're not gonna check up on them, bitch. Bye.
Right. That and this again, that's games to me because it's like when she this the thing is like for me is like I'm being a lot more not I don't want to say cold. It's just being more truthful. She's like, oh, you with another girl? And I'd be like, I'm about to be. It's like because at least she acts right. You know what I'm saying? Like you say some shit like that, but if a girl says she gonna call me, she don't call me. It's like that's already games for me. I'm already like you're already either out or on the back burner. Cause like like I said, like the girl I'm dealing with now, it's like there is none of that. It's like if she says she's gonna call me, she's gonna call me. And if she don't, I can't even say if she don't, because she hasn't like run me through that or something like that. Every morning she texts me good morning, things of that nature. She asks me if I've eaten today, make sure I drink my water, make sure you be safe. I'm praying for you. She'll send me messages. It's like it's completely different. Whereas like the love and the nurture that they want to give you. And so that's why like I know that, like I said, I went to Colombia, and so like I know like there's a difference between like the working girls and like the good girls, and majority of the time, I'll say like 95% of the time, you can easily tell just by having a conversation with them, just because their worlds apart when they talk to you. And so, what I will say, and I've only witnessed this from like the hoe side, was like they pretty much do like some girls in America do, where they're always gonna start off trying you. Like they'll always, and not trying you in a bad way. They'll just see if they could get away with it. And then if you easily check that and you're just like, no, this is it, then they fall in line easily. But again, like I said, that's usually on the whore side. Good girls, they don't even try you for the most part. Like it just is what it is. Like whatever you say they're gonna do. You say, I'm like, hey, get ready at this time, and then I'll send you a car and meet me here. Because for those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure Panama is a little bit more expensive, but in Colombia, your Uber, 10, 15, 20-minute Uber is gonna cost you like, $3 to $5. So getting cars for girls is nothing.
Nah,
So it's like,
it's very cheap in Panama also.
mhm. So
Panama,
yeah,
everywhere I went, it was like $2, $3
yeah,
in Uber. I'm like, how do they even make
it's
money?
beautiful, ain't it? I get back to the States, my shit was $60. I
Yeah,
wanted to shed a tear, man.
yeah.
But
I think
but
the
yeah,
most I paid for was like the trip. It was like a 25-minute drive to the airport from where I was. I think that was like $8.
mhm.
The Uber, like it wasn't. It's not. I was like, damn. So I'm like, damn. Okay, let me get the comfort. When you go comfort, it's a little bit more, but it's still
Yeah,
like very cheap
it's
to get the
comfort,
destination.
yeah. But yeah, you send her a car and then you meet her at like a park or something. Y'all just walk around and get like a little food stand joint, something, and like they're cool with that. It's like you have to, not even you, but it's like you got to really deprogram yourself from a lot of things. There is no Cheesecake Factory, ain't a real date over there. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with girls, you could do damn near anything, and she's gonna be cool with it because again, they just want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? They just want your time and to have a conversation with you and stuff like that. So
That's
it's
why I
like,
said it was a culture shock when we walked through the mall and she got overly excited about Olive Gardens. I was like,
mhm.
I'm like, man, the brothers in America, they're not gonna believe this.
Yeah, not at all.
They're not gonna believe this at all. I was like, man, what the fuck? It's oh, can we go? Can we go? I was like, I'm trying to show her like the Calio Steakhouse, uh,
Facts. Yep.
the tomato. It's this other steakhouse that I went to. I forgot the name of it. I'm trying to show her steakhouses was like they got tomahawk steak for $150.
Hmm.
Oh, let's get some tomahawk steak and yada yada. She was like, nah, I'm okay. But
Hmm.
that Olive Garden, she was like, yay, let's go to Olive Garden. I'm like, but like you said, I had to deprogram myself. I'm still a work in progress.
Hmm. It's real different, man. It's real different. Like it's like that's why like when I go over these places and I'm having conversations, I want to know what they life like because the last thing that you want to do, and I see a lot of guys do this. I'm peeping, and this might be just the tourist areas, but I'm peeping this is happening in the DR, where a lot of those girls are starting to be more Americanized, as in like demanding, like more lavish things, just because they're so used to like American guys going because they, guys they didn't deprogram, so they go over there, they thinking they got to go to the steakhouse. They like, oh, I throw money in the air, or oh, we staying in the penthouse and da 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 da. Whole time she's staying in a place that's concrete walls with the 10 on the ceiling, and
Yeah,
she a baddie, she a 9.5.
yeah,
And then she would have been cool if you was in a damn near rundown studio, because again, that's her life. When she go over her friends, so that's what she see. When she go over her dudes, that's what she see. And so she's not really expecting much. But if you over here like, oh, I gotta show her, because again, it's like that American mindset. I gotta show her the penthouse, or I gotta show her, we on the 30th floor. I gotta show her this. Then she's gonna be like, oh, okay. That this is like she gonna get used to that lifestyle. And then again, it's the same thing where they start to do like American girls do, where it's like, oh, I need, I need to go to Ruth Chris for a first date. Because I'm used to dealing with dudes who willing to drop that, blah, blah, blah. Because I peeped that with my girls. Like I see her, I know where she comes from. And she's not in poverty or anything like that, but she's definitely not in no penthouse either. And so like when I got my Airbnb, first of all, I'm gonna say this. I travel modern. I don't like to travel and be like with the poor locals when I travel. That's just not my style. I don't like that at all. I don't want to be poor in a different country. But so it was, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing like, extremely lavish. But she was in that thing having a ball, asking me like every morning. She asked me like, "What do you want to eat?" And I'm telling her, I want this, this, and this. And she's like, okay. As long as I bought the food, she was in there cooking, cleaning every day. I get done with the workout. She's like, hand me your clothes. She threw it in the washing machine. Bro, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's really nice. It's such a breath of fresh air. So yeah, man. It's like, but I'm peeping this like I'm peep like if I bring her something a little high class, now she has a taste for it. She's like, oh, you know what I would want? I would want this. And I ought to check her. I'm like, oh, so when you at home, that's what y'all be doing? And I'm like, how many times y'all be doing that at home? She's like, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, all right, let's relax. I was like, I know I'm American, but like, I don't want you thinking that you got it like that now. So, but it's real nice. You're a real good girl.
Right. Yeah, man. I gotta do the same thing when I go down there. I think I'm just gonna stick with Panama because Panama it's not a lot of foreigners that go down there
Mhm.
because most guys that go to Panama, they like I've even seen it in some of these groups where guys are like, hey man, Panama's cool, but Colombia's way better. So I'm
Mhm.
like, hell yeah, like all right, everybody keep going to Colombia. I make Panama mine. Cause even like when I was going to that spot where all them hoes were, it was way more women than men there on a Saturday night. Like there was so many women there. There weren't even enough seats for all the women, and it was number eights and nines just waiting for men to approach them. Right. Sometimes when you walking around, you can't even tell, who's really a foreigner or not. You know what I'm saying? More so in the touristy areas, you could tell, okay, they must be foreigners because how they're looking around with the pictures and the videos, and the women look less attractive over here.
Mhm.
Like every woman that was like Caucasian, Asian, and no disrespect, it was like, I'm like, damn, they look obsolete out here.
Chopped. Exactly.
They look like it's like, damn, like ain't nobody. You lucky you got a husband that love you because everybody's looking over you over here.
Mhm.
So and I'm like, man, there wasn't too many. I don't think I saw any American brothers when I went down there, or if they were down there, it was because on my flight back, it was like it was one older Panamanian brother that was on the flight, and it was
Mhm.
this one tall like brother. He was like 6'8", flying back to Houston, but I never saw him when I was walking around down there. There was some people on my flight going to Panama I seen in the touristy areas. I ran into them. I'm like, oh damn, they was on my flight. But I didn't see too many American brothers going down to Panama. And that's a good thing. It's
Mm.
just, hey man,
Facts.
that's for me. If guys overlook Panama, cool. It's better for me, and the culture is gonna stay the same down there. And like you said, I got to tone it down because sometimes we go all out to kind of show and prove like, hey, this is how I'm living. You know,
Right.
come into my world. Um, I could show you some nice things, and I could take good care of you. But that's one place where you could go to, like you said. Put women on instructions and make sure they follow them. Or it's just, if you're not really enforcing instructions, hey, you got options. But um, man, I'm digging that. And I'm still adjusting to the culture and the lifestyle down there.
Mhm.
But Panama, for anybody that's listening, it's a lot of brothers are going to the DR. They're going to Brazil. They're going to Colombia. They're not really going to Panama like that. So it's wide open down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I heard
don't
it
know.
was mainly like retirees, basically
Yeah,
in Panama.
yeah,
So it's not really like young brothers out there just like doing their thing.
yeah. Because when I was at that bar, that chick was telling me, this chick, she came up to me, she was fine as hell. And I thought she was younger, but she was 50 years old. I mean, her body was on point. I was like, damn, she fine for 50. And she even told me, she said, like, you the best looking dude in here. I'm like, oh man, whatever. I'm like, that's cute. You running game. I know you working. This is that and there. She was like, no, I'm serious. Like most guys that come here, they're old, they're out of shape.
Mhm.
It's you know, it seemed like we don't usually get guys who actually exercise that come here. It's just like, you know, you
Yeah.
probably the most attractive dude here, and you can pretty much get any girl that you want. I was like, hey, I appreciate it. Like, but if you in shape, you work out, it's not too much competition in Panama. You
Mm.
know, especially that Multi Plaza Mall. There's a lot of dimes in that mall, and it wasn't. There weren't there weren't hardly any brothers at all up in that mall strolling through there. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's easy to holler at women, pull them, and like you said, get them on some instructions. Because and a lot of women do the same thing. They don't think past tomorrow or next month in America either, but they'll fight you if you tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, you know I'm here for a reason. Not only can I can help you get through the end of life, but the way you think, you don't think past tomorrow, next week, or next month, next year, or 5 years down the line. I do that. So it's best to, follow my lead so I can get us to that point.
Facts.
You
That
say that to a Latin woman in Latin America, they can respect that and they follow that. But in America, they'll fight you on that and try to prove you wrong.
mm-hmm.
They'll try to fight you and prove you wrong and still fail and make up a gang of excuses as to why they failed. And it's like,
Hey,
so after dealing with Panama, hey, look, man, I'm done with America. I'm catching flights.
I've been done. Because it's like because again, like you said, like when you deal with those type of girls, you like that. Like again, once you start to deprogram and you realize like they get on your program, as long as you say what it is and you're not wavering and you're stern about it, and they do these things that are so nurturing. I'm like, bro, American women are so underdeveloped in this avenue. Like I don't even want to take the time to train them on it. Because not only it'd be one thing if they were like ready for instruction, but you damn near gotta fight them just to be like, hey, like this is how. Oh, you should lead. Okay, yeah, I'll let you lead, but nah, you gotta damn near argue with them and be like, no, the man is the head of the house, and because I'm thinking about this and this and that, and you're not really you're thinking about right there. She's like, oh no, but and I'm like, bro, whole time you go to Latin America and you're like, hey, we're doing this way. She's like, all right. It's like, yeah, I'm not. It's like I'm done. I can't even do that. But I was gonna say, one of the things about Latin America, I don't know about Panama because I heard it's a little bit more, not crazy expensive, but like relative to like Colombia, is you want to find out the best of your ability, like what local prices are. Because when I'm in Colombia, if I go to like a place like Medellin, first of all, you'll never find me where the tourists are. I can't stand running into tourists in different countries. I can't stand it only because it's mostly like I said, they bring the American mindset with them, and I really think that's like poisoning the people around. Like I heard like about the DR. But what I found out is like guys would be like, oh I'm paying like 80 or paying like 60 or 50 at Colombia, right? And whole time local price for at least for the area is 15. And
Yeah.
it's like you have no idea, because again, if you've ever talked to one, and we grown men here, so it's like back in the day, it's like when you talking to them, the first thing they're gonna do is just throw out the highest number, which here is I think it's like $100. They just throw it out. But if you're like if you study a little, not even study, like basic negotiation skills, like the local price is 15, and of course the baddies you might bring that up a little bit, but still. It's like that you got out once I found out the local price, it's like oh shit, like it's completely different. But that was just I wanted to say that to you because I'm
Right,
not
because most of them women from Colombia, they come to Panama to up the price, to up the
mm-hmm.
ante, and most of the time when you get a dime, they'll tell you how much do you want to pay me. It's like, well, I mean, what's your ongoing price? Because I really don't want to pay you nothing. So you need to have the ongoing rate, and I'll determine if I want to pay that. It's not some, it's not like some Western corporation that's setting a price and it's final. No, it's like they're taught bartering at a very young age and negotiating at a very young age. I learned that in China because when I was teaching over in China, they was trying to get us to teach the kids when you go to a market how to negotiate.
Mm,
I'm like, we're teaching them English. You think you'll be able to go to Europe somewhere or America and be able to negotiate everywhere you go? That's not how it works. That works in China. It don't work in America or Europe. That shit, it's final prices when a price is set,
hmm
not public. So it's but for ladies of the night in Latin America, yeah, a lot of them women they up the price. The average rent is between 100 to 200 in in Panama. I would say the average ongoing rate is 150.
hmm
So yeah, so it's definitely when you go down there. Um, yes, the flight is closer than Colombia, but you're gonna be paying just a tad bit more. So if
Yeah.
you're trying to run through something every night, you probably gonna have to run through something every other night. So it all depends on who you run into, but yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. I don't know how much the hotels or the Airbnbs are going in Colombia, but you can live pretty much your vacation can be set however it is you want to. You
Right.
can just like kind of live a modest, just have like a modest lifestyle vacation when you go to these places, or you can go big, pause. So I had a whole bunch of points, hotel points. So I didn't pay anything for that room. My hotel was free. I'm like, shit, let me get the Intercontinental then.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't pay for that at all. But next time when I used up all my points, but next time I go down there, I might, I'm probably downgrade to just like a little more intimate, like Airbnb spot that's
Mhm.
maybe $50 a night or whatever. So it's yeah, like you said, now that I'm, knowing this, and hearing like, hey man, a lot of guys when they come through some of these countries, they ruin it because it's like they try to ball out of control. Which I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it's there for, but uh when you giving them more than what they're asking for, is like that really changes the culture and the landscape. But it's not enough Americans going down to Panama to really be changing. Like a lot of guys are skipping over Panama. So uh I'm gonna stick with it. And
Mm.
I'm pretty sure Colombia they got way more dimes out there. I could only imagine because the best
It's
looking women
insane.
in Panama are coming from Colombia. But it's like I didn't really see that much competition in Panama like that.
hmm And that's the thing is like because there's so many of them, right? That and again, this of course you got to get to know the girl and everything, but it's like there's so many of them that if you meet a baddie, at least in Colombia, you meet a baddie, and let's say it's cool, but then you fumble or do something weird or what, or she do something weird, whatever. You literally close your eyes, spin around 3 times, and then you found another way. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like it's really that crazy because and I will say this because I've been to different cities in Colombia. I've been to Medellin and Cali, and next time I go, I want to go to some other cities. But it's like a concentration in Medellin, like. But when I was in Cali, it was like more. It's like it was a little toned down some, but yeah, for sure, it's like Medellin a huge concentration. But after the last time I went, I really like Medellin a lot. But I like I said, I don't like I think the tourists are really starting to change, just like the little area. Because I like I said, I stay away from the tourist area, so I'm living like with the locals again, not the poor locals, but the locals. and everything's like really great. But I like going to like different cities and like maybe even smaller cities because I know that one, tourists don't go there, and two, like the culture is intact. Like my girl's from like a really small city, and so it's just like when we went to Medellin together, it was her first time, and yeah, it was just different from what she's used to, and so yeah, man, it's like if you. uh, What I was gonna ask you is like, were you like in the deep in the city of Panama City, or did you kind of go on the outskirts a little bit?
Nah, I just stayed in like that main strip. This picture that you see on the screen right here,
Mhm.
that's where I stayed. Like you see that like all the way to the left of the picture.
Yeah.
Those two towers all the way to the left. That's the Intercontinental hotel.
Oh wow.
That's where I stayed at. I just stayed in that area the whole time. Every once in a while I go to Multi Plaza or I go to Albrook Mall,
Hmm.
and then I would walk down this path where all these palm trees are. I just literally stayed in that area, or I'll go to like Costco Viejo or Old Panama. But nah, I mainly just stayed in this area right here.
Mm.
I didn't even go
So
out
yeah.
to the outskirts. It's just like my first trip, I kind of just stayed there. So like my second trip, I go more in the outskirts after doing more research. But nah, not on my first trip. I didn't go to
Oh, okay.
the other side of Panama at all.
Yeah. Because that's one of the things where it's like, obviously it's going to be a lot different if you were in that area, because this looks like the area with the where the money's at. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like I expect everything to be like 10-20% more expensive. But like I said, I've never been to Panama outside the when I was born, so of course I don't remember anything. But I'm sure like on the outskirts is like a completely different world. Mainly because again, it's like I'm assuming that the money just doesn't stretch that far out there. And so I would look at that, and again, I wouldn't want to stay out there, especially if it's run down. But um, yeah, just like I would look out there and see what's going on and the types of people that you meet. Because in Colombia, it's like the main tourist area is called Poblado, but if you go either further south, like for the Sabaneta area, it's a completely different world. Um, I want to say Envigado is a completely different world, and so it's like that's what I like to see is like when I'm away from the tourists, how do Panamanians or Venezuelans or Colombians act, and what do they act like when they're like around a bunch of Americans or Germans or whoever, and I love how they act when there's no tourists there. When they are tourists, yeah, I'm not a fan. So, but
Mm.
yeah, man, you making it sound like Panama like the spot. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't have nothing else to compare it to in Latin America, to be honest. Um, the brother Saul, he came on here Tuesday night, and well, my first night when I was in Panama, he broke it down, and I said, "What's your top three places in Latin America?" And he said Colombia number one, Panama number two, and Brazil number three. And then he was like, "Really, Panama is like a close second to Colombia, or damn near number one because of how safe it is."
Yeah.
He's like, "What you're doing right now, walking around at this time with your phone out, you wouldn't be able to do that in Colombia. Whereas like
Mhm.
out there, it's safe. The women look good. It's not as many good-looking women as like Colombia, but it's like at least you're safe over there, and you can exercise and walk around in the morning." And he goes, he was walking around like 3 o'clock in the morning, and so I mean, I was doing the same thing. Of course, like there's crime everywhere you go, but the crime rate in Panama City, it's like it's much safer than most American cities.
Mhm.
So um, that's why you know, with the pictures, the women that I met up with, the pictures I sent you, and the safety over there. Um, I don't see a reason to choose any other country, but most guys who have been to Brazil and Colombia, they'd probably like, nah, you know, they would probably skip over Panama because I've spoken to some guys that have been to Panama and Colombia and Brazil. They was like, nah, I just stick with Colombia. Nah, I stick with
Mhm.
Brazil. But safety is important to me. So I just stick with what I like for now. I don't have a problem, pulling or handling business out there. Like, I don't have a problem. Why switch it up? It's close. My family's out there, so
Mhm.
you know,
For
I don't,
sure.
I don't have an issue with going back over there for now.
I was saying, yeah, if you're a big safety guy, I would definitely stick to Panama for sure. I think Colombia is dangerous if you don't have street smarts and if you're like a stereotypical white American or a white or European.
Yeah,
Um, but for me, I like it. I like Colombia for the fact that as far as the safety is because it like justifies my slight paranoia. Whereas like when I go to places, I look for the exit signs. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in a if I pick an Airbnb spot, it's got to have a security guard. It's like that. It's like that's just who I am naturally, just because I like to have all my exits covered. So it's like when I'm in a place like Colombia, I it's like it feels normal to me. Like I don't club because I'm in a relationship now, so it's like I don't club. Even when I wasn't, you will not find me in Columbia streets past 12. It's just not gonna happen because it's like it's nothing for me out there. I've been out there late at night, and they have like block parties and stuff like that, but I'm good on that. I don't drink when I'm out by myself. If I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna do it in the comfort of my home. And so it's like there's like these little rules that I have for myself that makes Colombia really great for me. But like I said, guys go over there and they like to, like you said, ball out and buying bottles and staying in penthouses and all this other stuff. And that's cool. You have fun. It's your money. You do whatever you want. But at the same time, we're not going to ignore all the stories that come from Colombia. And is nine times out of 10 is usually simply because they was dealing with a worker and they were staying in the touristy area. And so it's like, of course, when you go out there and you do all that, you become a target. And so, things just happen. But yeah, for me personally, it's like I'm always like, I'm always like, I'm precautious like that. And so it's like somebody, if I have somebody coming over, I need to see the ID. And then my excuse is like, oh, my security guard needs to see it. And so, they send you a picture of the ID. It's just stuff like that. And so that's what makes it really great for me. But if you don't want to do all that and you just like, I just want to be chill and hang out, I definitely would choose Panama, just how the safety of how you make it seem versus Colombia. Because Colombia could definitely, like, I walk out with my phone out, but I'm not dumb with it. I'm not like having a selfie stick and, taking videos and stuff. I'm not doing all that in Colombia.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I
for
mean, I
sure.
even did the same thing. I'm like, no, you got to drop your ID off at the front desk. You know what I'm saying? Like I would do the same thing. Because I still take that caution even there in Panama. Um, like I still keep my head on a swivel, regardless of the crime rate or whatever in Panama City. I still keep my head on a swivel, but uh, I would, Latin America is one of those places you got to watch out for anywhere you go.
Mhm.
I was a little bit more relaxed when I was in Asia, but a lot of them women, they try to get over on men also. So I was always, you know, taking cautious steps wherever I went, in really any country that I'm at, because um, I'm not a citizen there, and it's her word against mine.
Right.
But, you know, Panama, uh, anything can happen anywhere. Panama was just one of them places where I like the energy over there. Is like that strip right in the picture right there. It's like, man, you want to hoop, you want to play soccer, you want to play volleyball at night. It's like, as we're speaking right now, there's like 6 courts along that path right there, 6 to 8 courts along that path, filled with people playing tennis, playing basketball, playing soccer, people jogging, rollerblading, bike riding, walking, getting the exercise on. I like being in health conscious cities, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
people are health conscious in Colombia also, but there's
Mhm.
that element of surprise at night at a certain time that you got to look out for. And I mean, I was looking out for that when I was in Panama too, but you know, not really, you know,
Yeah.
not really. So I just think sometimes, and then people they skip over Panama because it's more expensive, but you get what you pay for. Yeah, it's cheaper
Mhm.
in America, but you get what you pay for. You go too cheap, and and you dealing with women who is like, okay, how can I slip this in his drink? How can I
Yeah.
drink and slip this in his drink so I can rob him of all his shit? And it's just, I that that air of desperation is in places where it's like it's too cheap. But
Mm.
hey, some people they say, hey, I know my way around here. I know how it is. I'm good enough. I'm good anywhere out here, and that's fine. That's cool. But not a lot of people are talking about Panama on YouTube.
At all.
Mainly Colombia, the DR, and Brazil. It's not a lot of people are talking about it, and their number one complaint is that, hey man, it's too expensive, and in the
Mm.
summertime it rains too much. And I'm like, that's cool, good for me, good for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, man. But all right, I got to get up out of here. I mean, it was great talking to you, man. I added the Facebook, so if you see that, that's me. But
Which
yeah, man, I'm
which
gonna
one?
catch you.
What's your
You
last
said
name on here? Is it
it's like
something
you the
hard?
you. No, it starts with a E. It's like you the ammonia or something. I'm wearing like a red.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
drinking
that's you.
something. Yeah.
All right, cool. I just approved it. So hey man, it
All
was
right.
good talking to you also.
Yeah, man. I'll try to hit you up your next live and chop it up with you again if I'm not busy.
Oh yeah, I'm going back live tomorrow. Shit, we just talked about girl number 2. We still got 1, 3, 4, and 5 to talk about. So I got a lot to talk about. I am going to go back live tomorrow. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on here today, and I hope you come back on tomorrow too.
I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.
All right, all right, peace, man. That was Dream Life. I appreciate him coming on. This is a 3 hour and 15-minute live. I appreciate everybody who's been tuning in this long. Pardon me for the language. I try to keep it clean, but pardon me for the language. Um, you know, I think that this is a live stream that everybody should go back and re-listen to everything that was said in this live and study, especially when Dream Life came on. Dream Life, he dropped a lot of good game. This is a live stream to be studied. Um, my final words, I would say, hey, you could travel anywhere you want, but brothers, I'm telling you from somebody from experience, leave Asia alone. I've been saying leave Asia alone. I was in Asia. I think I was in Asia about when did I think I was in Asia about 4 years too long. I think right after I graduated, I should have just came back to America. Right. But I'm glad I went through those experiences that I had in Asia to be able to come to this point. And I would say, hey man, somebody asked, are you retired from Canada? Ozzy. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Canada. Canada is this is something totally different. Latin America. This is something totally different. Like I was able to thrive in Canada and pull some of the baddest women in the club, but it's not like I walked in anywhere and the whole spot is just filled with 8s and 9s. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't just filled with 8s and 9s. you know, I pulled the highest I would say I pulled was like really like a 7.5 in Canada, 8, but they came a dime a dozen. It was just like every so often you would see an 8. Latin America, Panama, everywhere. It's just they 8s, 9s, they were everywhere. Everywhere. Like it was just normal. That's how fine they were in Panama. And I didn't see one woman arguing with a man, trying to fight a man in the streets, cursing somebody out. Now I did see some booger bears. Like you're gonna see booger bears wherever you go, but it's like, you know, it's you know a handful of booger bears when you go out in Panama. The majority of them are 8s and 9s. Y'all heard Dream Life when I DM him those photos. He said, "Oh damn, yeah, that's about an 8-9 right there. Oh shit, yeah, that's another 8-9 right there. Oh damn." He said all three women that I showed him were 8s and 9s. All right. So, and these were women that were trying to really say like, "Hey, like, what's going on?" I'm really sad that we're not communicating what's going on. Like they're trying to work with me on certain things, but I'm like, you know, I'm trying to tell them like, hey man, I got options and I'm not really into women who do stuff like that. These are 8s and 9s apologizing to me and trying to work with me and trying to gain some understanding with me. Those same women, if they were in America, they I'm telling you, all last week, people were glued to my Instagram. People couldn't wait to look at my stories on Instagram. So um I don't do this. I don't go to different cultures to try to take advantage of the women. It's just, because like I said, that this one woman in particular I'm talking about, I just said, hey, I'm sure you'll find the guy that you're looking for. And she hasn't lived that long to understand what it is that she hasn't lived that long to really fully understand what I did for her, and I didn't throw that in her face. I just I did a good deed, and I said I don't want nothing from you. My actions speak louder than words. I'm pretty sure last night is not the last night I'm gonna hear from her. I know it's not, right? So um even like the other woman, when I was just like, all right, take care, they was hitting me up like a day or two later, so but anyways, hey, I'm gonna cut this off. It's gone on too long. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Um, Girl number 2, very beautiful woman, as what Dream Life confirmed. Right? He's like, oh damn, yeah, that's an 8 or 9, and um, I told her what it was, but I told her what it was. I'm not gonna reach back out to her. I'm pretty sure she's gonna reach back out to me, but I think in the near future, you guys are gonna hear me say, okay, it was rough in the beginning, but she came around and she has her mind right now. And I am going to be more direct as far as like now it's like, because it goes from being direct to like you're demanding something. And I don't want to seem like I'm that needy and thirsty to make those demands. But hey, you got to adjust when you go to Latin America. You know, from what it's I say something, I make a request, and if they're not feeling it, I'm like, all right, you know, That's peace. Like you could do what you want, but I have other options. I've been on that, as far as making that demand, saying, no, you need to be here at this time, this, that, and the third. Hey, you know, I'd rather go the option route, but I can go down that route also, but I usually keep it P, and I never I don't beg. I don't ask somebody to do something, and if they don't want to do it, I'm just like, hey, that's just her. She don't want to do it. It is what it is. As I just if she don't. If I'm not asking you anything ridiculous, you don't want to do it. I just let them go, right? But I got to adjust to the culture in Latin America. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm doing that. I'm not ashamed to say that. And most of us listening right now who are from America, we weren't raised like that, right? But um, I'm I'm more into charging women to the game. I'm more into like, hey, you know, okay, you ain't got to do that. It's your option, but I'm charging them to the game. So it was a lot of culture that was taught tonight. Much respect to Dream Life that we learned and that we need to make those adjustments for. And I'm here to give my experience to Panama so most of y'all can understand and uh, y'all can listen to my experience, what I learned, the mistakes I made, the things I did right, and you can make those adjustments. All right. So everybody have a good night. Be safe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. What time is it now? It's like 9 something. So I'm guessing 6 p.m. is a good time. 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a good time for y'all. I will be back. Oh, maybe I should start a little bit. Okay, 7 p.m. Maybe 7 p.m. tomorrow. We'll be back. I want to talk about girl number. I'll think about it because it's 5 different women I want to speak on and tell you what I learned. All right. So you guys have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And hopefully, we'll get more people to come up and speak. So talk to you guys later. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.